Hey Brandon, how you doing? Thanks for making it in today. Still a little bit early. We'll give it a few minutes before we get started. Hope you are having a great day. One second, can you hear me okay? Just let me know if you can. Hey, see if you're shy. How you doing? Hope you guys are having a good weekend so far. Thanks for joining in as always. And yeah, I'll give it a few more minutes. Let some people join in. Go ahead and get started on space number, this is 38, believe it or not. 38 of these. It's hard to believe. Time flies. It's been a great time. Yeah, hope you guys are, like I said, having a great weekend. I am just going to enjoy a quick cup of coffee before we get rolling. Started really early this morning, and I only managed to get one in. So, Nico, how you doing? Hope you're having a good day. So, I don't know if you guys have been following the news and seeing what everything's going on. Like I said, today we'll probably do a little bit of crypto news, nothing crazy. Usually we gotta do a couple stories, and then we'll kind of go into usually like scams that I've seen, or in this case, we're probably just gonna do a quick recap. I haven't seen anything crazy new, but you got to be on top of it. And then we'll get into EverGrow news, and then some info on utilities. That so we're getting closer and closer. So. Super exciting. Michael Garber, how you doing? Hope you're having a great day. Love the new artwork as always. Bet you can't wait for LunaSky V2 like the rest of us. I'm hoping it's going to be like keep hearing rumors that we're so close. So I'm hoping by the end of this month that we'll be live with V2. I just cannot wait to see what it looks like. All right, Moon Android, how you doing? I'll invite you to speak. You're more than welcome to come up and talk if you like. If not, if you want to just kick back and listen, that is cool too. But yeah, hope you guys are having a good weekend. Been trying to monitor what's going on in Discord. Should just try and pop over there real quick. Moon, how you doing today? Awesome.
How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Yeah, doing all right. It's been a busy day. I worked this morning, and but yeah, I managed to get off early enough that I can get everything ready for the space today. So yeah, feeling a little
Wait,
bit
what do
better.
you do again? What do you work in?
So right now my job is at the airport in San Diego, and we're building a new airport terminal. So I'm doing the inspection out there for like concrete, rebar, stuff like that.
Inspector Steve, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Yeah. So how about you? How you feeling, man?
Yesterday I was not doing so good. Today I decided to, I tried to. This has also been, a huge lack of sleep.
Yeah.
Because basically, my symptoms have always worsened when I'm laying down as opposed to staying up, and that keeps me from sleeping.
Right.
So I really took like a big sleep, like we're talking 10 hours plus, and I woke up today. Do I still have my symptoms? Yes, but am I better? Vastly. So yeah, you can also see that there's still have to figure out what I have, but I can see it's also very dependent on the amount of rest I get and the amount of stress I have. So I'm just glad I'm feeling better today.
Awesome.
By the way, one big shout out to Michael right over there next to me, Michael Garber.
Oh, yeah.
He's been giving me advice. He's a doctor. He's been giving me a lot of advice, and I really appreciate that. Thank you so much, Michael.
Awesome. An artist and a doctor. That's awesome. Give a quick shout out to CWP. Hope you're doing well, man. Hope your move back into your original place is good and smooth. UGC Mike, Libby, good to see you. And EverGrow Dan, thank you for all the hard work that you put in every single day over on Facebook and here in Twitter and in Discord and wherever else you are working. And we see Will here. We got Drakefist, good to see you guys. Gringo and Stingo, John, and who else we got here? Crypto Pilot. And I saw Brandon was the first to jump in today. So yeah, hope you guys are having a good weekend. We will jump right into the space, like I said earlier, space number 38. And so the title of this space was Let's Talk EverGrow, the beginning of the greatest comeback in crypto. I really believe that is going to happen. So Yeah, welcome to the EGC fam, and we're going to talk about EverGrow, Lucro, LunaSky NFT Marketplace, Atlas Wallet, other future utilities, and just kind of general crypto news from the week. So let's get into it. So this one was out of Dan's neck of the woods there in Canada. This news article is from Reuters in the US here. I guess Binance said on Friday that it was withdrawing from Canada weeks after the country issued a series of new guidelines for cryptocurrency exchanges, including investor limits and mandatory registrations. I tried to find out what it was exactly that was specific in Canada that they were saying they needed. It was just a lot of general news. But anyway, Canada has tightened regulations for crypto asset trading platforms in recent months with the introduction of a pre-registration process. I'm not too sure what that is. The companies that do not adhere to the rules will face potential enforcement actions, according to the website of the Ontario Securities Commission. Unfortunately, the new guidance related to stablecoins and investor limits provided to crypto exchanges makes the Canadian marketplace no longer tenable for Binance at this time. Crypto exchanges, Binance said in a tweet. Binance said it does not agree with the latest guidance and hopes to engage with the Canadian regulators to create a comprehensive framework for crypto operations in the country. We are confident that we will someday return to the market when Canadian users once again have the freedom to access a broader suite of digital assets, said the crypto exchange funded by Canadian national Zhao. And it looks like the door is still open for discussion with Binance and the Canadian government, but it looks for now Binance is not willing to succumb to the government's version of regulation. From what I can tell, this move looks like it only affects the centralized exchanges, so DeFi is still in a better position. So maybe Danny, if you are more than welcome, I'm going to give you the mic if you don't want to come up. That's cool, but if you do, that's great. Maybe talk a little bit about that. Also, in our side of the border in Texas, Texas votes to add crypto to state's Bill of Rights. I thought this was kind of interesting. The United States legislature in Texas have voted to amend the state's Bill of Rights to add a provision recognizing the right of individuals to possess, retain, and utilize crypto digital currencies. The decision was made on Wednesday, May 10th. Bill H.J.R. 146 introduces a state representative, Giovanni Caprignoli, declares that individuals have the right to use the medium of exchange that is mutually agreed upon, which includes digital currencies, cash, coin, bullion, or script for trading and contracting goods and services, and this right cannot be violated. The document received 139 votes in favor, with only 2 against, and it includes a statement that no government shall prohibit or hinder the ownership or holding of any form or quantity of money or other currency. The Texas Bill of Rights safeguards essential liberties like freedom of speech, religion, and press, similar to the U.S. Bill of Rights. However, it includes specific clauses pertaining to Texas, such as the right to a prompt trial and the right to possess and carry weapons for self-defense. Should it pass and become law, the recent amendment will additionally grant Texans the privilege to utilize digital currencies like Bitcoin. I thought it was really interesting. Tom Glass, who established the Texas Constitution Enforcement Group, remarked on Thursday, May 11th, that there is one more House vote on HJR 146, and then it goes to the Senate and vote for the people. I thought it was really interesting. Oh, man. We'll see a couple new people have dropped in. Rocket, how you doing? Denny. And we got Cody here. Pepe LaRue, EverGrow Love. Good to see you guys. Habibi the Pug. So glad you guys made it in today. And Texman, good to see you as always. I'll go ahead and throw some mics up there. You're more than welcome to come up and talk if you want to. But if you just want to kick back and relax, that's cool too. It's probably been a busy week for everybody. So yeah, in terms of scams, I usually try to cover something related to scams. I see Libby dropped in here too. Good to see you. And Herson, nice to see you as well. So I'm just going to kind of provide some overall, just general like scam tips, because there's been nothing really like pressing new that I've seen, but some things that I've seen in Discord, that are kind of reminders. Just there's just be good practices, right? Tips for everyone. Doesn't matter if you're new or a seasoned investor. When you're looking at when you're on your favorite platforms such as Discord, Telegram, Twitter, Facebook, always follow good safety practices and follow simple steps to protect yourself and your crypto. One of the things is none of the mods will ever DM you first. If you have a request and you reach out to them, well, that's one thing. Never share your seed phrase of your wallet. That is like, you should never have to do that. No matter, there's no circumstance that I could ever think of that you would ever have to share your seed phrase. If you're importing your wallet, let's say, into another wallet, let's say Atlas Wallet, then yes, you are going to import your seed phrase, but that's done on your own. You don't need any help for that. Never click on a link on a website unless you're absolutely sure you know the author of the website and you trust the person linking it. Safe bet is just not to do it. Do not share your bag size, since it makes it easier for you to be targeted. You can look up any transaction, any wallet on BSC Scan. So if you're providing that data to somebody, somebody can potentially target you. Avoid using words like TW or like Trust Wallet, MetaMask in your messages. These can attract people pretending to offer you help. For instance, it's kind of funny because when it's out of context, it makes no sense. But hey, if you say, yeah, I'm having problems with my Trust Wallet, well, all of a sudden you will start to see some messages come through. They're not there to help you, trust me. There are no airdrops of EGC or Lucro, despite what you will see on some sites, YouTube, for example. If the team is going to do an airdrop of any token, they will do it through official channels, such as the official EverGrow or Lucro channels. To my knowledge, there is nothing like that ever, happening right now. They have talked about a Lucro airdrop at one point, but that has not initiated. There is no formal plan in place that I know of. Yeah, there's so many good safe practices out there, but those are just a couple off the top of my head. When you're buying crypto through a DeFi wallet, clear your transaction. For example, in Trust Wallet, in the settings section, there is a Wallet Connect section, and you'll see all of the transactions that you've done. Swipe those to the left, and you'll see delete. Delete those. You're basically creating a link every time you do a transaction, and that's like residual, right? I don't know exactly the mechanics behind it. Somebody else might be able to tell you, or come up and tell us. But swipe it, delete it, and then there's another one in BSC Scan, which is a new feature. It's called Token Approvals. If you go to BSC Scan, and I think it's on the right, which says like more options or something. Basically, there's like a beta mode. It basically says like token approvals. You go in there and then put your wallet address in there. You can see if you have any open approvals. You can cancel those. They cost like just a couple cents to just cancel those out. Some people have lost crypto because of it. I don't know specifically how it happens, but some savvy people out there are more than happy to try and take advantage, right? Good general practices that I've heard, I think Rocket, you told me this one, keep your NFTs, I think it was maybe Rocket or Cody, keep your NFTs in a separate DeFi wallet. Do not combine your NFTs and your crypto in the same wallet. That's just good practice. Do not interact with any NFTs that you have not purchased. I have one in my wallet that I was like, wait, where did this come from? And I look on it and it directs me to a website. Absolutely not. You cannot delete the NFT. You just hide it. At least in Trust Wallet, you just hide it. So another thing is be suspicious of anything free, such as free airdrops, free NFTs, stuff like that. I'm sure there's some legitimate projects out there that, that they do these things, and that's cool. Just be very suspicious. Why are they giving you it for free, right? Okay, let's get into the good stuff. Dan, how you doing today? Good to see you, man. Thanks for all your hard work. I really, really appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure. I just wanted to add one little thing concerning security is that if you're going to buy some pink cell, you're going to buy some new token, create a different wallet where you can put it in. Don't ever mix your crypto when it's something that's pretty new, because it can be potentially dangerous for the rest of your crypto. And that's what I had to say. Concerning Binance, I just have to add that I've seen this coming for like almost a year. You know that Kevin O'Leary, okay? He's been acquiring Canadian crypto exchange for like a few years now. He's basically going to own a crypto empire in Canada. There's also, that's why I was saying, like, when he was bashing Binance, there was a reason behind that. Because most of the clients are at Binance, and he knows about it. Because BitBuy, like a lot of users, we go to BitBuy and we send to Binance. But like to get the money faster, we often go from Binance to BitBuy because we get it in like something like a few minutes. And they started to block transactions to Binance. They did it a few times to me, and I think he saw Binance as a threat, and he just wanted his crypto empire, and that's what he's getting. There was a reason behind why he was bashing Binance so hard. He had commercial interests. If you check on the news, you'll see a buttload of crypto exchange being acquired, and there's always Kevin O'Leary backing, buying, or like making the deal. So I just wanted to add that.
So, do you know what rules were being proposed by the Ontario, was it the Exchange Commission or something, that was so against what Binance was doing that they decided that's enough is enough?
It's basically because in Canada we're not allowed to do futures trading anymore or leverage, and Binance had certain products that are not futures trading, but they are leverage tokens, meaning that you cannot get liquidated, but you can still over leverage your position, and that's what they found out. They found out also that there's a lot of products like USDT in Canada is outlawed. It's deemed a security. I have no idea why, because there's no expectation of profits from a stable coin. And like Crypto.com had to prevent us from buying them, buying USDT and stuff. And they banned a certain amount of crypto, but if you go to Binance, you can still purchase them. Like I've been purchasing USDT without any problem, and that was one of the issues.
Was it such a point where like Binance that's the major revenue source for them, and that's why they are pulling out, because that's their money? Or was it just that perhaps like across platforms like the US and Canada, they wanted like one standard kind of platform, and now they had to adjust and it was just too expensive? Do you have any idea like why that was one straw too much?
What I don't understand is that they outlaw USDT, but they endorse USDC. So
you know why, Dan? You know why? Let me just tell you this real quick. So personally, I dislike USDT. I think over the years they've been shown and really even exposed multiple times for potentially not having the liquidity / backup in dollars of what they say they have. Literally, they seem to be printing money out of thin air. Pretty much.
Yeah, like the Bitfinex scandal.
Yes, that is. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the reason why Canada has deemed them illegal. They've looked into it, and there's red flags. In fact, there's red flags all over. And we don't even need to get into it, but if USDT was to crash, that would probably be the worst day for crypto of all time. Absolutely. But there are inconsistencies. And I'm even sure they failed some sort of audit at some point regarding what sort of backing they said that they have, but they didn't. So just putting that out there. The other thing I wanted to say is, as far as Binance, I don't know if you guys are aware, but there's already rumors that the USA will be the next country that Binance is going to drop. Now, this is a rumor, but it just goes to show, how bad the regulatory situation here in the U.S. is. I mean, I think we have the SEC to thank for this mess, but it's pretty bad, and I wouldn't be surprised if it happened, especially because they already dropped Canada. So.
Very interesting. Yeah, and Cody actually just said, I love USDC. I sell BB&B for it and then top up my Crypto.com Visa debit card with USDC. Very interesting. Yeah, it's, I don't know. I don't really, I guess, when you have cumbersome laws, and I think, I feel like there's, rather than this kind of collaborative environment, it's more of a, we're doing this and you better get on board. And a lot of, I hate to say it, but just a lot of companies are just like, you know what, we're just not going to really be bothered by this. There's better money to be made elsewhere. And we really don't need to go through all this. You know, when you're willing to work with us and come back to the table, that article, that's what it tells me. You know, we're willing to work with you. Maybe we can come to some agreement, whatever like that. But, you know, right now you're not really providing an environment where I can do business. So, and I kind of agree with that. So, but I just feel like, you know, they're coming down heavy-handed because of some really, really bad actors out there that have nothing to do with at least Binance anyway.
And it's also, Steve, it's also, you know, the way that you do it, right? I mean, I'll give you an example of my home country, Portugal, and for the past few years, it's been known for having a 0% tax on crypto. Now, don't get me wrong, that's not going to last, right? They're doing that to attract crypto investors. Sooner or later, they're going to tax the hell out of it. So I'm not blinded by that. But what I do have to say is, whether they have a tax or not, at least they're clear about it. They're clear about what is a security. They're clear about what is taxable and what isn't taxable and what you should and shouldn't do. And I think that's a stark difference to what happens here, which is a complete mess. Nobody knows what the hell is going on. Comes tax season, that's even worse. And it's that lack of clarity, ultimately, that causes so many issues in the crypto space in the United States. So, yeah.
It's like that with pretty much any business. I know years and years ago, it was probably 10, 15 years ago, I heard some farmers talking about the use of water in California. And there's opposing sets of rules at that time. One says you can use, let's say, water from your well for this purpose, and then another set of rules says you can't. But he said, just tell me what I can do and what I can do, and I'll follow the rules. But you know, just make it transparent and tell me what you need from me, right? And so, yeah, crypto's the same way. It's not like no other business. You know, you've got to provide clear guidelines that people can follow, and then as long as you have rules of the road, people can go forward. You know, so.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I think we could all agree when you have a situation that a person wants to be lawful and wants to do everything properly and by the book and how it should be done, and they can't because they don't know how. That's a pretty bad situation to be in. I mean, that's pretty bad. That is some serious lack of regulation, and even the regulatory entities understanding themselves what is it that they want to do or not do. So that should illustrate how much the problem is out of hand.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have competing interests, right? You know, different people have different things that they want out of it, and yeah, exactly. So, very well said. Let's kind of get into the kind of the whole thing about what's Paul and Sam were talking about in the recent days of the last AMA. So unless you guys have been hiding under a rock, the tax for EverGrow, which was set at 14%, has now been lowered to 5%, and that will be until further notice. So the 5% is buy 5%, sell 5%, and then if you transfer, of course, that's normal, 5%. So I looked on the website this morning, and that was updated. I don't know when it was updated, but yeah, so you can go and find that. So I don't know how long this is going to go on, if it's a permanent move or what. Stay tuned. So the volume since this announcement has gone from anywhere from about 2x to 4x of normal volume, and I've seen as high as 10x normal volume. So there's limited data, so I've only seen the past 5 days or so, but so far the volume has increased and reflections have increased as well. Even though you've reduced the tax, I've seen an increase in reflections, which is a very good thing. So, so on the website, the official EverGrow website, as follows: 4% goes to rewards, and 1% goes to the marketing wallet. And I just had Cody just said I had updated the website earlier this week. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Currently, that wallet has about 310 BNB for the marketing wallet at this point in time, which I think is worth about 560,000 USD. Sam also talked about future utilities for Lucro, including games. I think this is quite intriguing because any utility that uses Lucro or EGC is a good thing. He mentioned 2 potential games, so stay tuned for that. It was kind of interesting. And then EverGrow Staking has been talked about in some detail over the past couple of weeks. If you're not familiar with staking, think of it like you're putting your money into a bank and then you get like interest on it. It's a little different, but crypto staking is similar, only the rewards are usually much higher. It just depends which, what it is. Obviously, some are lower, some are higher. Right now, staking for Lucro, for instance, is around 10% APY. So staking not only generates income for you, but also serves as taking tokens temporarily out of circulation. So this can have a very positive impact on price. Currently, like for Lucro, Brewlabs is a staking partner for Lucro, but EverGrow will be handled differently. 1 second, please. Sorry about that. The EverGrow will actually be directly through the EverGrow website. So the team is working at integrating it into the website for staking of EverGrow. There's approximately, I think last I checked, 12 trillion EverGrow available at this time for staking rewards. So that is great. Typically, staking gives rewards in the native token, such as like Lucro, you get Lucro. But the team has a slightly different plan on this. They're going to actually offer rewards that you can choose. So you can get rewards such as USDC. That's one option. I think there was a couple options that they talked about in the last AMA, and the impromptu space by Paul just a few days ago, actually. So yeah, in the last 7 days, EGC is up around 7% or so. In the past 6 weeks or so, a total of 9.2 trillion tokens have been burned. So this massive burn was a result of a deal made by the EverGrow team to buy out a certain whale and use those tokens for future rewards and send them to the burn wallet and offer tokens for sale, tax-free over the counter sale. That was a few weeks ago. So all money used to buy out that top whale was recouped in about 5 days from the OTC sale. And the project benefited overall by allowing them to have tokens left over for future rewards. There's a bunch of benefits to this. We took it a whale, so that's great. Let me see what else Cody's put in here about the games.
Sorry, let me just tell you, EverGrow Dan just messaged me. Apparently, he got kicked out of Spaces. He can't join because of some error. So,
yeah. That sucks. I wonder if he got the Android bug. That's interesting.
Probably.
Yeah. So Cody had said, haha, yeah, busted, LOL. Lucro Games is one of the secret things we were working on. Proposed contracts are being reviewed as we speak for them. Also, these aren't complicated games that will take significant amounts of time, significant amount of development time. That's awesome. So yeah, hopefully, any utility is a good thing. So if it adds utility for Lucro, that's great. So the plan going forward was announced many weeks ago, and it was hinted before, and as that goes as follows. So this was from Sam a few weeks ago. So number one, it was LunaSky V2 proper will launch with huge marketing. We haven't seen any marketing yet for LunaSky V2. We will remarket EverGrow NFT collection. If you're not familiar with that, that is in the LunaSky current version of LunaSky. And all income from those will go to buyback and burn of EverGrow. Atlas Wallet will launch with huge marketing, so that's pending as well for the marketing. We will introduce EGC staking with incredibly attractive long-term rewards that was revealed. We're waiting for the website to be updated. A mystery utility token, some aspects have been revealed, and obviously Cody just talked a little bit about that. And then we will reduce EGC taxes, lowering the barrier to entry for all. So this has obviously been completed. We've seen this. And then what will this do? This will increase the hype and awareness around EverGrow, which is starting right now. You're seeing the volume. Grow our community. That's also started. I'm seeing a lot of new people come on and to Discord and Twitter. Increase the rewards. Rewards have gone up since even though the reward amount by tax is lower, the volume is increased, so the rewards are going up. So increased volume, like you said, we've seen 2 to 10x volumes or so. And then encourage long-term holding. So that's the part where staking comes in, long-term holding. It's the perfect storm, which is excellent news. And we'll transition a little bit into Lucro. We talked a little bit about it, but Lucro, as many of you know, is the kind of transactional token. I don't know what's the wording for it exactly, but it's a 1% token. It was developed by EverGrow as a trading token, so it's designed to be traded. This token will be used in LunaSky V2 when it's launched, and it will be encouraged to be used by offering lower fees. So if you're listing your NFTs, you will get a better deal using Lucro. Lucro will also be used in future gaming, as we discussed a little bit earlier, and also by the Abstract VR in their Metaverse project and VR gaming. If you're not familiar with Abstract VR, they are another company, a separate company that we have a partnership with. The release date is pending for the Abstract VR. So Lucro will be the exclusive token for the abstract PR, which is great. Lucro is also a staking opportunity currently offered by Brewlabs website. The website actually for them is Brewlabs.info. You can stake your tokens over there. And like I said, currently around 10% or so. It'll go up and down a little bit, but the more people that stake, the less rewards you get. The less people that stake, the more rewards you get. The team's also said, interestingly enough, in the past that they may add more Lucro tokens to that reward pool at some point to increase your rewards. There is an initial lockup of 30 days, meaning that if you do withdraw within the 30 days, there's a penalty. It's not much, though, to my knowledge. Total staking beyond that time of 30 days is entirely your choice, up to 1 year. After that time, you can restake if you wish or not. It's up to you. And I just saw another comment in here. 1 second. Oh, I'm something else. My apologies. All right. LunaSky V2, the man, Cody, he's still there. He can tell you absolutely everything you need to know about LunaSky V2. The amount of gray it's probably giving him in his hair. But pretty much everything you need to know. LunaSky V2 is designed around to be a great visual experience, but also being easy to use, full functionality, just, the best looking website, best looking NFT website that's out there, exchange. So the confirmed crypto integrations, obviously, we have BB&B and Matic, which is normal, but Lucro is going to be integrated, Chronos, ETH, and was there another one? I can't remember if there was another one in there as well.
There was another one. I forget the name.
Yeah, I can't remember either. The incentive, obviously, like I said, Lucro basically is because by incentivizing it, you're encouraging it to use it, and because there's that 1% tax, that will actually add to buyback and burn of EGC. So it's another utility in a sense. So one of the features I'm kind of interested in seeing is the idea of importing collections from other NFT marketplaces. So let's say if you're on Rarible or OpenSea or something, you can import that collection to LunaSky, and this benefits us because we get the platform fees when an item is sold. This is really, really good. Plus, by marketing it through what we do here on LunaSky Instagram page, and with C2BP doing his thing on Pinterest, it's just going to hopefully get more exposure and more attention. I was actually talking to I thought they were pretty big NFT artists over on Instagram. And sorry, they're not an NFT artist yet. They don't really understand NFTs, but they're an artist. And I said, why don't you come and check out LunaSky? And so they're a little overwhelmed by it. So I'm going to kind of do maybe kind of a walkthrough with them once LunaSky V2 launches, and hopefully bring them over because I think they got like 8 or 9,000 followers or something. So hopefully that will generate some income for us too. And the other utility that is in the works right now, Atlas Wallet. I'm sure you guys have heard it before. I see a couple new faces in here, so we'll just kind of cover Atlas Wallet real quick. DeFi wallet, obviously. So Thursday, Sam had tweeted a new beta version for Atlas Wallet is basically what they're working on right now. And he said that that the team had done a big push over this week. And I'm trying to find the exact wording he used here. But basically that is looking really good. They produced some videos. And I guess maybe they might release those videos for us to see, kind of the functionality. We've already seen a little sneak peek from Paul, and it looks amazing. But some of the big features. So on-ramping of from fiat currency to such as USD to BNB, for example, that's nothing unusual. Built-in integrated swap, so you can convert your crypto, which is a really good thing. Off-ramp solutions, you sort of saw this hinted at by another DeFi wallet, which we'll cover in a bit. So you can send your wallet, your profits to, let's say, a card, the future MasterCard that will be available. I don't know exactly when, but that's kind of a little bit later down the road. A watch-only feature for the wallet, so you can actually watch other wallets from Atlas Wallet, and up to 50 of them if you like. And of course, you're going to have your trading wallet and all that stuff, but you can watch up to 50 wallets. So that's pretty interesting. So if you want to keep an eye on maybe some whales or something, see where they're moving their money around, you can do that. Of course, you can store your NFTs. There'll be a Chrome extension for desktop, which is great if you don't want to use your Android phone or your iPhone, but that's where they'll be available. The app will be available on both of those. And of course, the app browser. We mentioned a little bit before that there's going to be a big marketing push when the team is ready for this, so expect to hear more about that. So interestingly, Trust Wallet announced that they've integrated some off-ramping capabilities just yesterday. I think this is probably the third time I've seen the team working on something, and only to see another company try to copy the idea. So, I mean, there's some people that say, what does this do for us? I mean, what they beat us to it, and they're not going to beat us to anything. This is just one aspect of the wallet that we're going to have, but really, our wallet's going to be secure. I just know it. I don't really see this as a threat to Atlas Wallet at all because, we have multiple off-ramp partnerships and other features that we talked about too. And you got to think too is, I mean, we've got the community, right? And I know a lot of people don't really take that kind of all that seriously, but they really should because the community is everything. And we have an amazing community here. So we're going to have everybody probably in EverGrow community that's going to adopt this thing. And then it's going to just spread like wildfire. I know it. I can't wait to see. I'm just really curious.
Let me say as well, I think it's worth noting, just a quick note, the path that the EverGrow team has taken up to this point. I think the big change, the big change in gears really happened, at least for me, with the release of LunaSky V1, which, let's be honest here, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It wasn't the best. Yes, it had issues. It's far from what we wanted, right? But what did the team do? They took it in the chin. They pulled their pants up. They, took the criticism. They listened. They went back to building. They went back to square one, back to the drawing board, started building again. And the utilities aren't even out yet, right? The LunaSky V2, the wallet, and whatever else there is coming, they're not even out yet. And yet, with just a lower tax and a tiny bit of marketing, EverGrow has exploded, and we're freaking trending everywhere. If that doesn't get you excited, the utilities aren't even out yet. If that doesn't get you excited, I don't know what will. So kudos to the team. Kudos where kudos are due. Absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah. They're doing a remarkable job, and there's a post going around that I think Hyperbeam, I saw it through him the other day, and it's called Daily Clicks, right? And basically, it just helps us get more exposure to different people. Maybe people have never even heard of the project. And you go through, and there's I don't know how many links there are, but 10 of them maybe. And you just spend maybe a couple minutes and just go over there and just, like it and it takes literally no time whatsoever. Just go and do that and just share it. And then, you get, the next thing you know, you start trending, right? And you get more people introduced to the project and then, they can check it out for themselves, So I think it's just a good idea to do that anyway. But yeah, I mean, I think Sam said we're only out of marketing, we're a 1 out of 10 right now for marketing. So there hasn't been that much money spent on it. And yet we're still seeing this trending, and, EverGrow in, third and fourth and all that stuff. It's pretty amazing just to see that in a very short period of time. So it's
basically there's been nothing, and yet here we are. That's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. And we haven't even really kicked off yet. So just wait until we're 5 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 10 out of 10. It's going to be pretty amazing. Cody has said here, let me see here, just updated the daily clicks on the website. Also, they're all legit, but all but 2 do not require an account. Very quick and easy and important to do. Absolutely, you bet. Cody also said all ERC20 tokens for LunaSky, and starting with ETH and BSC, Polygon, Avalanche. That was one I was forgetting, and Chronos.
That was it, Avalanche. Yep.
Thank you, Cody. I appreciate it. Lucro, EverGrow's ecosystem token, most call them utility tokens. We think coined the term ecosystem token. Yeah, I like that better. That's awesome. It just sounds better and it makes more sense. So the EverGrow community store, if you guys are not familiar, see a couple people that I haven't seen here before. So this was a store that I started working on months ago, and basically selling merchandise, which is EverGrow related, Lucro related, LunaSky, all that stuff. I've got a couple new designs to that, and you can find that at EverGrowStore.com. And related to this store, so I recently did a poll on when profits should be used for promotional giveaways and or burning of EDC. So let me back it up just a little bit. This store is a community store. Even though I started it and I run it, it is a store where you, the community, have a say in what happens in the store. There's a business plan that's posted on my page on Twitter here. It's available on, I think, Discord, Telegram, Facebook. If you guys want something on the store, obviously you can tell me, reach out to me. But if the way the store runs, if you want to say something about it, then you have a say. It's there for you, right? So I committed 100% of profits will go towards either promotional giveaways of EverGrow Token. I don't want to use the EverGrow coin, or burning of EverGrow Token, or both. We can kind of split it up. So there'll be a poll that will happen once we reach a certain profit level. And that was the poll that I did just a few days ago. So the recent poll was, what was that trigger of like 500, 1,000? When should we do these giveaways or burns, right? And so I received 471 votes, which is great, a lot of engagement. 42% were in favor of a $1,000 trigger. So when you reach 1,000 in profits, that's when we do the vote for what we're going to do. Are we going to do a giveaway? Are we going to do a burn of EverGrow? 29% were in favor of a $1,500 trigger, which is interesting, a little higher. And then 27 were in favor of a $500 trigger. There's a lot of great comments in there too. I want to give credit, because people were saying, if you do it at a lower amount, then you have more giveaways, and which is more hype and all that stuff. Totally agree 100%. But I commit to the community that this is their decision. And so that was the decision, and I'm going to stick with it. And so the $1,000 trigger also, if we don't receive that 1,000 by, let's say, 3 months of time, we'll do the giveaway no matter what, or the promotion, whatever it may be. So going forward, like I said, if the store generates 1,000 in profits, we will do a poll asking what the community wants in terms of giveaways and or burns of EGC. Currently, we have approximately 700 in profits. So that's kind of where we're sitting at right now. So we got 300 more in profits to go, and then we can go ahead and do a poll. That poll that I just talked about will be integrated into the business plan. And so expect to see that soon. I'll put out a tweet letting people know. I also got my first bank statement for that account where the deposits go into from Shopify. That will be made public too. So I'll get on that. And some stickers. I just had some stickers delivered, which I actually shared on Discord what they look like. And I got a lot of good feedback from that as well. So I'm also looking for some kind of bulk sticker purchases where like you get a roll of like 50 of them or something like that. Some people have requested that because the stickers I currently have on the store, they're bigger, right? They're like 6-inch sticker, like in your face with a code on it and all that stuff. And they're a little pricey, no doubt, but they're super good quality. I mean, like I've had mine on my truck for months and there's no sign of it fading whatsoever. People can just kind of walk up to my truck and scan it with their phone and, it takes them right to the EverGrow site. So yeah, it's good quality, but not everybody wants to spend $7 on a sticker. Then you got shipping too, right? If it's the only thing you're buying. So I'll work on getting a lower cost option. These little stickers that I put on Discord that you can see. So I've got one for EverGrow, one for Lucro, and one for LunaSky. I'm waiting for the Alice one to show up. And then I'm going to probably do like a 4-pack for like, I think, what do you call it? Somebody has suggested like do the pack of 4 for like $5 or something. But I also like what I did is I actually just bought them and I'm going to give them to the store for basically for free. So there's like the cost zero, right? To the customer, like to you, the community. So whatever profits generate from that, they're just going to go right to the bottom line for everybody. So that was just my little donation there. Give me one second, my savior.
Steve, I didn't hear you say this. Maybe I just missed it. But for the new people, I think it's very important that you state that you do not receive a dime from the proceeds of the store.
100%. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I don't take any money from the store in any way, shape, or form. In terms of product, like I don't order product from the store as a promotional and say, oh, it's just a write-off. If I buy product, it is just like the way you buy it through Shopify, through the store. I pay retail, like whatever it is. I don't pay cost or anything like that. If I'm going to obtain something from the store, I pay what you pay. So, and I try to keep those prices competitive so that they're not cost prohibitive for people. So absolutely. Thanks for saying that, CWP. Appreciate it.
That's only possible because, 100% of EverGrowSteve and who he is and what he's willing to do for the community, because I still don't agree that he doesn't pay himself. To be perfectly honest, I really don't like that. But that's his choice, and yeah, we just have to thank him. And the EverGrow store is amazing.
I appreciate it very much. Yeah, it's a work in progress. I hope to make it bigger, better and better, and scale it up over time, and just generate more profits for the community. And I think it's just, we're right in that stage right now, right where we need to be. And I'm really glad I launched it before we got Alice Wallet going, and before LunaSky V2 is launched and all that stuff. And I just hope that is going to piggyback on that kind of hype, and people are going to be like, hey, I want to wear it. I want to represent LunaSky. I want to represent Alice Wallet. I want to represent EverGrow, and go out there and just kind of share that with the world. You know what I mean? And so I'm hoping that, and I want to mention too, it's like there's other people out there that actually have EverGrow merch, and you're more than welcome to go shop at their stores if you want to. Just know that it's just that, it may be run like a traditional store where they keep the profits, and there's nothing wrong. If you like a design better from them, by all means, you don't have to buy it from me, whatever. But if you have suggestions for a design, please let me know. Please, I'm more than happy to put up new designs. It's a community store, just like I said. It is by the community for the community. So, yeah, that was it. Hi, Savior, how you doing? Hopefully you can hear
Good
me.
evening. Good evening. I'm fine. I hope everyone is okay.
Absolutely. How's your day going today?
It's very, very hectic and having some pains on my eyes. I don't know whether it's too much exposure to laptops and the nature of things that I do.
Do you
So I
wear?
think it's
Do you have that blue filter on your glasses, or do you wear glasses?
I'm not wearing glasses though. I don't know whether I should meet any specialist to check my eyes, because I've been having, I think, the issue over and scratches and all those kind of things when I'm exposed to like 6, 7, 8 hours.
Yeah,
So,
it's probably hard on your eyes, the focusing, right? Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Take a break
So,
once in a while and give your eyes a bit of a rest. Hopefully that's just it, strained, you know what I mean?
If you spend a lot of time in front of a computer, I know this because I do wear glasses and I've had this issue before. So first of all, I developed light sensitivity because of that, and a big reason of that is because I didn't have the blue filter that they apply on the glasses, on the lenses. So if you're going to get glasses, make absolutely sure that you have that. The difference is night and day. With like my eyes don't hurt by comparison. So keep that in mind. I'll always have the filter, especially if you spend a lot of time on looking at monitors.
Is there anything you can apply directly to the monitor itself as a filter?
There is. You can get it on Amazon as well. But that's great. But that only applies to like that particular monitor, right? Whereas if you have that on a glass, that applies to everything. So that's a better choice.
Jump in.
I want to add something to this because I've got eye problems that are not related to the blue light, and it's lots of use of a monitor. Not even the old ones, but the newer ones. The liquid crystal display still causes eye strain and dry eye. And I have got dry eye in both eyes. It is terribly uncomfortable and easily treated with artificial tears. So try that if anybody's experiencing eye pain. It doesn't necessarily feel like your eye doesn't have any liquid in there. It just burns.
Especially you want to keep away from LCDs, like CWP said. But of course, that's easier said than done, because what you should get is OLEDs, but they're notoriously expensive. So yeah, I also understand that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you can't really get away from it, unfortunately. We use our cell phones or laptops, all that stuff. So yeah, it's just kind of, you almost like need to take a break from it, like force yourself to take a break. I mean, I don't know. Since I started, really getting heavy into, NFTs and all that stuff, I think my screen time has gone way through the roof, and your eyes pay for it for sure. But yeah, let's gonna read one more comment here and see. Pepe LaRue says, loving Frank NFT 73 new PFP. Absolutely, that's part of the Galactic Crusaders collection from LunaSky. A really amazing collection. Love that one a lot. He's got a lot of variety on there, so check that one out. Curious, any new, I know, Moon, you're working on your new NFT collection for V2, is that right?
That is correct. Crypto Mecha series.
Awesome. I just saw the logo for that. It looks awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, I just posted that. I was working on that for like 2 days. It took me way longer than I thought it would.
It's a lot of work, huh?
So, it's one of those things where you're like, I can do this in 30 minutes. Yeah, of course, until you actually try to do it, and then the 30 minutes turn into 48 hours. So, yeah.
Right on. Dan, you made it back.
Yeah.
Dan, you there? There you go.
Dan?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yes.
Now you can hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, great. I just wanted to say that if you have a problem like with your monitor for the eyes, at Best Buy and everywhere, they sell special glasses to protect your eyes against the blue rays. They cost about like $40, but they're awesome if you are in front of a computer all the time. Like if you don't wear glasses, you can get those special glasses. It's really great.
Cody actually made a really good comment here about iOS that they have dark mode, and it was developed for this purpose. The higher the setting, the less blue light. Less blue light also helps with the circadian rhythms, aka sleep cycle in the brown. Interesting. Okay. I don't know if you have an iPhone or Android, but maybe that might be an option.
Okay.
I'm on Android right now, and I'm on black mode right now, dark mode, and it's a godsend.
Yeah. The issue is I don't know whether can lighting also affect, because I've also turned on, since I'm always really on coding, I've all turned on my theme to be dark. But I'm really having that scratch because the kind of things that I do is in every day will take up to like 6 to 7, 8 hours in a day, and the least that I can manage is 8 hours, and it's very, very issue. Even as I'm talking now with my phone, I'm trying to put it at a very far distance towards my eyes, even if all is in dark mode. I don't know whether there is any. I was thinking that it was lighting at the initial time that they told me that, and at least every time you want to be exposed, if you are not using glasses, you should maybe have a brighter light in the room and all this. I've been trying that, but it's still the same thing.
Interesting, yeah.
You don't wear glasses, do you, Xavier?
I don't use glasses. I just kind of, because mostly it's like a genetic kind of thing in our family. People, so I'm trying to avoid using glasses at this my age, which is very.
I think you should. I think you should go get them, because you're basically describing symptoms of people who start needing glasses. The longer you go without, the worse it is.
Hey, everybody. Hope everybody's well. Hey, good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you great. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for joining in.
Yeah, I just want to chime in on this. Actually, appreciate you reading some of those messages when able to speak. It's night mode, not dark mode. Night mode on Mac OS and iOS was specifically developed and designed by not only engineers but healthcare professionals to limit blue light, because what y'all been talking about is the negative effects of blue light, which is all screens, TVs, phones, etc., computers. So when you turn night mode on, at first, if you have the setting all the way up, it may look a little yellow or orange to you, but your eyes adjust within a few minutes, and you don't really recognize, you won't really even notice that your screen has this light tint to it. You can adjust the rate of it too, how much night mode you have enabled. This was specifically designed to be automated between certain times of the day, because things like blue light severely affect circadian rhythm, right? So they affect your sleep cycles really bad, along with, your actual eye health, your ocular health. So I highly recommend enabling night mode on your iOS or Mac OS devices, whether you set it to automatically turn on when the sun goes down, or like me, I leave it on manual all the time. All my devices have night mode turned on about halfway up. I don't even notice it, right? So someone, let's say, looks at my phone or my computer, because I don't have it all the way up, they don't notice it. If I turn it all the way up, the first time they look at it, they'll say, "Oh, your screen looks a little yellow." And And then about a minute later, if they keep looking at it, they don't even realize it because your eyes adjust to it. So highly recommend it. If you do have iOS or Mac OS, enable night mode. Dark mode doesn't do anything but just change the color of your screen, actually. So,
Interesting.
yeah. But yeah, that was, a lot of companies are really into developing products to help with not only, a user's make people's lives easier, but to help people be healthier, right? I mean, you've got things like your Fitbits, your Apple Watches, et cetera, your Samsung Watches, et cetera. So this was one of those features that engineers and healthcare professionals have worked on, similar to like AFib now being on watches, some watches, things like, all of that stuff. So pretty cool. Check it out. Night
Thanks
mode.
for sharing. I appreciate it. Yeah, appreciate it. So how are things going? How's the home stretch treating you?
Yeah, good. You're right. There's many gray hairs, but they are well-earned gray hairs, so I'm not complaining. I think Rocket probably say the same. Many gray hairs, and I haven't slept since like September 25th, 2021. Is that when EverGrow launched? So,
yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. It's going good. A lot of meetings this week. This week was very productive. We had lots of meetings, lots of different areas for lots of different things, many of which you all are aware of, some of which you're not. The games thing, I sent you the message. I thought that was really funny. Sam, was just like, let it out. And I'm like, heck yeah, there it is, guys. So, yeah, we're working on Lucro games. And again, they're not complicated games. We're not talking about things that take significant development time. Very simple, very easy to use and understand. And obviously the whole purpose is to generate Lucro volume with them. So we're looking to have those out as soon as possible. Just reviewing contract proposals right now. So you know how those go. Company sends us a proposal based off what we want. We review it. We say, cool, let's proceed. Or we say, hey, we want to do this instead. They revise, we review, etc. So pretty cool.
Hey, Cody, one thing regarding LunaSky, I know you guys don't want to give any dates, but do you think it would be possible, like, I don't know, 24 to 48 hours, like, before it happens, like you guys announce it? Because that would be really helpful, actually.
Yeah, I've thought about that. It's a good point. I think that would be absolutely possible. I mean, ultimately, it's going to come down to a management decision, but at the same time, I think that feedback coming from the community is really important. And if that's something that everybody would like, is a little advance notice, I'm all about it personally. I don't like to speak for anybody, but I know this person pretty well. I feel like he probably would be too, Rocket. So if I'm wrong, Rocket, you can take it up with me in the break room. Sorry, buddy. But no, I'm with that, man. I love it. I think 24 to 48 hours advance notice would be fantastic. I don't see any reason why we couldn't or wouldn't do that.
Well, the only reason I ask for it is because otherwise it's going to be a mad rush. If it just drops like that, I'm going to be caught with my pants down. I already know it.
I would imagine we would probably give some type of advance. I personally, and this is just me again, so grain of salt with this comment, everybody, because obviously we have to discuss these things on the management side, but like me personally, I don't want to do like a week advance or two. That's just me. That doesn't mean we won't do that. It obviously comes down to a group vote, but I don't because, we've been down that road and we've kind of made those mistakes before because things could happen even in that short amount of time, 5-7 days, But 24 to 48 hours, once we know it's finitely there, I love it. I'm for it.
Yeah, you wouldn't need like a full week. First of all, it's too much. The only time like 24 hours might be a little bit too little, but 48 to me at least feels perfect. And the thing about that is, even if you said, okay, we're releasing LunaSky V2 in 48 hours, and then something happens and you have to delay it, that's fine. But at least we're expecting it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, agreed. 100%. I'm with you. We are currently, obviously doing QA right now, which is going really well. So that's been very exciting. We're prepping the QA now for just a quick bug bash, and that should give you some type of indication without me elaborating on maybe where we're at. So there you go.
Great news. Actually working in quality assurance, so I'm more than happy to help out if you need.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wrong industry. Wrong.
Man. Inspector Steve.
I'm for it.
Right on. Super excited. Can't wait.
Okay, I have a question that I want to ask about when we were talking about security and different breaches of security through people's wallets. Now, the first thing that I want to ask, is it possible, because I've been reading, we have been hearing over and over, don't click a link that you are a link, a web link that you do not trust.
Do you have a radio going in the background? Because I looks like you're
Okay.
competing.
Okay, what I was saying is that because we have been hearing over and over again that you should not click any link that is not from a trusted source and connect it to your wallet. Now, I want to ask the question, is it possible, or especially for Cody and Rocky, so that I will also ask what they have also implemented in the wallet that is about to launch. Is it possible, because let's take an example, a certain decentralized wallet now. If I want to carry out any transaction, maybe I'm swapping a particular token. Swapping the token, after I connect the wallet and now connect the decentralized wallet to that site and I click swap, the final thing that will happen before that transaction goes on will need a passcode from me. So now, in that kind of scenario now, is it possible that there can be an algorithm that somebody can develop that goes into the wallet after connecting the wallet, that final passcode, is it possible that clicking that web link, even though it's vulnerable, can trigger that your passcode to activate whatsoever that was in your lab? Because that's always the final point that I said, is it really possible that kind of thing can occur?
Yeah, good question. So here's what usually happens, right? It's malicious websites. Let's use Pancake, for example, right? Pancake swap. We're all familiar with it. We all use it frequently. I do. Somebody can duplicate that, and then it can become a malicious site. So once you connect your wallet, boom, they've got your seed phrases, and that's how they get access to it. That's how it actually happens.
I also have to say, Cody, that is true, and I would say malicious websites account for probably 99.9%
exactly.
Of all situations. But I have heard of situations, and I have verified even myself, with completely legitimate websites, completely, and users still somehow got scammed, not scammed, they got their funds stolen somehow. Like it's methods we don't even understand. Security-wise, I think the best practice is what Rocket said. First of all, keep your crypto and your NFTs in different wallets. I already do that. If you're not, you should be doing that. And number two, something that's going to be very beneficial with Atlas Wallet by being able to have up to 50 wallets, which is keep everything separate. Keep every crypto separate.
Yeah, I agree.
Right, and of course, the first thing people say is, "Oh, that's a pain in the ass." It is. I understand. It is a major pain in the ass. But at the end of the day, it boils down to: do you want a major pain in the ass, or do you want to lose your funds?
100%. Yeah, and you're right. There's a lot of unknown elements there too, and a lot of things that can come up. You know, of course, some of the known things we discussed, right? Malicious websites, social engineering is obviously a very, very, very big part of it too. That's, I think, one of the biggest aspects of how people lose funds. You know, the H word, which I don't like to say a lot because it gets used in the wrong context, the hack word, the H word. A lot of times that's not the case. It's essentially being socially engineered, human error, making a mistake, malicious websites. But there are other situations, you know, sometimes compromised aspects or compromised data, or compromised PII, personally identifiable information, happens, you know. So, and then, like to your point, Moon, there are other things that we're not even aware of that go on out there. So just follow all the best practices, you know, from credible sources that you hear, and just really protect yourself.
One of the NFT artists I follow just a month or two ago, not even, and he pretty much was hacked and lost over 100 ETH.
Yeah.
I don't even know how much money that is, but you can do the math.
Exploits, you know, that's a hack. An exploit is a hack.
That's a hack.
So
his wallet was not public. He didn't connect anything, and he still, but you know, it had all that money in it. It had all the attention. He got hacked.
Somehow, some way, someone along the line was capable of creating some type of exploit. We won't know how, of course.
Exactly.
there are people that are much smarter and more experienced with that kind of thing than I think all of us combined here that would have some better ideas of how, of course. But yeah, we see it. It's such a shame. I have been the victim of a social engineering loss of funds in my very, very early days of holding crypto. I'm not ashamed to admit that, you know. I mean, I was socially engineered. It happened, you know. I learned a lesson. Unfortunately, it wasn't it was a big lesson for me. I mean, money is money, but it could always have been worse, you know. So,
with me personally, I mean, it was very, very early in crypto, and I was on Discord, and I was having some sort of issue. I can't remember what it was. And somebody had reached out to me, and I was at that final phase where I was about to give them something and click on something, and something just triggered in me. I said, I better not do this, and I just basically shut it down, and they started getting kind of really angry with me, saying, do this now, do this, you know. And luckily, otherwise I would have lost it all. So, the inexperienced is like a perfect, you're a perfect target. You know what I mean? What I think you were talking about is kind of some sort of like two-factor authentication. They're really, you know, to be honest, like I don't really see that as, yeah, it might help a little bit, you know, with authenticating a transaction, but what is already in place right now is pretty effective. There are people that are exploiting, you know, contracts that are basically, you know, weak contracts where there's, you exploit a particular part of the contract. There's dusting, you know, and there's dusting. You can get a little bit of crypto in your wallet. You don't know where it's from. And then as soon as you try to like, oh, you know, well, I'll just clean up my dust a little bit here. And then next thing you know, your wallet's emptied. So
that's a really good point, Steve. I actually meant to say this a while ago when we were talking about this, but I forgot. So I'm glad you brought it up. About the dusting, you know, the remnants of cryptos that you can't get rid of, or NFTs that get sent to your wallet, right, that you can't delete. That right there is a limitation of the crypto world as we know it in blockchain and technology right now. But the way it should work is your wallet should protect you from that just naturally. So if you would have, you know, just small amounts of dust, basically, of tokens that you don't use or you don't know what they are, and especially NFTs that you have no idea where they came from, the ability to have like a delete button that even, you know, a newbie could work with, and you just press that and the wallet automatically sends that to some burner wallet somewhere. It doesn't matter as long as it gets rid of it. And there's nothing like that on any wallet I've ever seen. And yet it's such a technically simple solution if you think about it.
One thing that I actually learned a lot from, I can't remember who told me this, but they said, you know, act like a whale. Well, how do whales treat their wallets? You look at them and there's like no movement at all. Like let's say EverGrow, like some of the whales in there. You look at it, that's like one wallet dedicated to that crypto only, and they don't do anything else in there. They completely leave that separate. They don't do the regular trading in there. They have a separate wallet from that. And that right there will protect you a lot. And, you know, in let's say Trust Wallet, where you can disable certain cryptos in there so you don't even see them, that right there, don't enable all of them. You don't want to see all of them. Only ones you want to probably see, BUSD, the EverGrow, Lucro, BB&B, you know, stuff like that.
Great point. I disable everything in my wallets except for what I'm holding in that wallet. That's it.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Okay,
I'd like to throw out another thing in this because I've been the victim of it, and that's keystroke software that is dumped onto your PC or your phone and captures things like the 4 or 6 or 8-digit codes that you send to verify yourself, and credit card numbers, expiration dates, and the CVC code. They are still a big problem. One of the other ones is JavaScript on your computer, because JavaScript has many holes down through the years which have been repaired, but they still exist. And I know a lot of security people say disable JavaScript on your computers.
Would you say it's safer to actually operate your crypto wallet on your mobile device versus computer?
I think so with iOS, because you're dealing with a browser, no matter what your operating system is on your desktop. And that browser may have vulnerabilities in it. As you know, I use Linux on my desktop, but still I'm dealing with Firefox or Chromium or one of the other browsers that may have security holes.
Think about this too. The network connection is another aspect to this, right? This conversation can go really deep and go in lots of directions, but yeah, another aspect would be the network type connection, Wi-Fi, public Wi-Fi, or cellular. It's like if you're on a Wi-Fi connection, those kind of things can be compromised, to a degree. Private networks, obviously not as easily by any means versus a public network. Cellular connection, not nearly as easily as even a private Wi-Fi network, but there are other elements to that we don't know.
And also, Cody, like for instance, the example with the NFT artist I said that got hacked for 100 ETH.
Yeah.
Two things about that. First of all, the only reason he got hacked is because he had over 100 ETH in there. So a lot of money, that's a lot of incentive for someone to try to find some sort of exploit to get in there, even if he does nothing wrong. So that's already scary. But number two, the real issue is that he didn't employ safety tactics. And the safety tactic he should have employed, in my opinion, is he shouldn't have had over 100 ETH in a single wallet. As soon as he got to 1, 2, 5, 10 ETH, he should have separated that money throughout multiple wallets. So if one got hacked, the other ones are safe.
I agree with
that.
Yeah, if your wallet is getting very, very large, look, is the tax, if it's a taxed token to move it, really worth, taking the risk of losing tens, hundreds, or more thousands of dollars, It's not. So just do it. You've already got the money. It's like, just do it.
Right. I can understand with a tax token. I can understand a little bit more, but this wasn't even a tax token. This was ETH.
Exactly.
So he had no reason to not move it. What, gas fees? What are you talking about? You have over 100 ETH in there. The gas fee is nothing to you. Yeah. And you didn't. So
circling back to CWP's point about like keystroke stuff, that's pretty advanced stuff, and you have to think about though beyond that, and that's why I want to bring this up. You have to, well, not beyond, you have to think about prior to that. How does it get to your machine? Typically, social engineering, clicking a link you're not supposed to that looks like you're supposed to click it, those are how those kind of things come up. At the end of the day, it doesn't just magically show up, right? As a user, you select something, you do something that inadvertently, or you let someone use your device, right? That's another thing, be careful who has access to your devices and who uses them and things like that, because that's how the majority of things are going to come up, right? Or happen, or be set in play or motion to happen.
Even cold wallets, my apologies, my dog's hacking here. Even cold wallets are not one of those things that are 100% safe. I know people who have bought a cold wallet on Amazon, and somebody had bought it from the manufacturer, and then go ahead and put some code in there, and the next thing you know, your wallet's cleaned out. So if you're gonna buy a cold wallet, get it directly from the manufacturer.
Yeah, what they do is they buy it directly from the manufacturer. They alter the firmware with the hacked firmware to steal your funds, and then they sell it on Amazon. And as soon as you put funds in there, it's gone.
There it is. Yeah.
If you see third party on there, then that's a red flag right there. Because usually you can see who you're buying from. So
yeah, you get what you pay for. Do your due diligence. Due diligence is a big thing that's always talked about in this space. So do your due diligence.
One thing guess where the 100 ETH went to? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead and finish.
Guess where the 100 ETH went to as soon as it got hacked?
Oh,
it went to it.
Where?
It went to another wallet and directly to Tornado Cash. That's the point where okay, I'm screwed. That's it. That's gone.
Oh man, terrible.
Xavier, I hope that helps a little bit. Of course, the more security features integrated into a wallet, the better. There's always going to be an exploit. There's always going to be something, way around it. Even just a simple tool like we talked about, like clearing your history within let's say Trust Wallet. I'm sure that that Alice Wallet will have something very similar where you can
you gotta disconnect. Always disconnect.
Yeah, what you are saying is true. Is almost the only thing that I've even immediately you guys have shared a lot of things. I just went there to turn off some of the tokens that maybe some were dropped. I don't want them to be there again. I might not be able to withstand the kind of attack that is going on. Though it's not here, though we don't really have that, but over what I've been reading in news over there is so pathetic, and I might not want to be a victim of that. A quick question that I wanted to ask was about please, Cody, can you share more light? Can there be a feature that will be developed in such a way that staking in Atlas wallet will be so simple? Because one of those things is going, in fact, I can say to the truth, I even complain in Telegram, I've been trying to go for staking of Lucro, I've been having a lot of challenges. Can we have it somehow similar to SEX centralized exchange, that you want to stake the protocol that is supplying the is not like just as what is going on, where somebody you just clicked on a particular token that you want to stake. Let's assume the ones that are being recognized and also approved in the Atlas wallet. Let's take an example, Lucro. You just click on Lucro, you now say maybe move to this. You just click on move to this. Immediately the token is being staked. Instead of link, can we make it simplified like that? It would have been very nice.
You're looking for like an easy process to stake, is what you're saying. Because right now with Brewlabs, it's, there's a bit of a process to it. It's not, I wouldn't say it's difficult, but there's a process to it. Go ahead.
I was following him. Yeah, no, I'm with you. I get it. Like Steve said, looking for a very easy and singular avenue process to do it through the wallet. I don't know if that's going to be something down the road that they implement or not. I will tell you this, the EGC staking will be directly on the website, our website. So you'll just click there and you'll do it right there. It'll be very simple. Lucro currently through Brewlabs, as you know, but EGC staking you will be doing on the EG website. So just like our swap, right? It'll be right there. Look probably very similar to well, I can't say probably because I literally have seen every aspect of it from a blank piece of white paper all the way up to our meeting about it this week. So it will look very similar to the dashboard there, give or take, But yeah, it'll be right on the website. It's looking really good, by the way. We can talk about that really quick if you want, Steve.
Yeah, sure. Let's do that. We got time.
So I'll make it short. I'm pretty to the point.
Go for it. I want all the details.
Yeah, I was like, oh, well, I guess I'll hear about that. Yeah, so we did another design meeting this week with the staking build. So it's looking great. It's very, very simple. To your point, iSavior, really intuitive. Less is more, not multiple pages, not multiple clicks. It is one page. It is one, basically, we'll call it a card for now, right? If you could look at the EGC website, look at like the dashboard of the swap. It's one square card. It's right there. It's going to give you all the info you need to know about like what you have staked, how much it's worth, how much you're holding, etc. Compound withdrawal. Bing, bang, boom. That's it. It looks really beautiful. It matches the EverGrow website aesthetic. So those colors, it looks like that. And yeah, that is it.
With being a tax token, how does that kind of play into the equation?
Yeah, good question. Clearly, like you said earlier today, we reduced the taxes, and for now they are 5%, right? So how long they'll remain at 5%? Will they remain at 5%? All of those things are, obviously subject to possibly change. We don't know yet. How will that work as being staked? That's something that I'm going to let Sam elaborate on a little bit more so he can give you some really finite details on it. And he will soon.
Out of curiosity, like with Brewlabs, I mean, obviously we have a contract with Brewlabs for staking. Is there a possibility that when that's done, that we could see Lucro move over to the EverGrow website?
Oh, yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, I think there's definitely a possibility for that, right? So right now we have a year, right, with Lucro and Brewlabs, so we will assess the situation at 1 year and go from there, definitely. That's a good question.
Yeah, and the microtransactions, that happen will go to us rather than another company. And I have no problem with Brewlabs. They do a great job and they're a beautiful website. But yeah, I'd like to see that go right into our ecosystem.
100%. Just like with EG staking, right? The contract is being developed for us. We're not going through someone else. So that's it.
This kind of goes back to the conversation we've had quite a few times regarding all of these processes, whether it's just general crypto or staking. The question we should really be asking ourselves is how many people don't stake because it's not a straightforward process, right? And I think that's what iSavior was going to, and I completely agree. We got to get there somehow. We got to simplify as much as humanly possible. Absolutely.
Yeah, agreed.
Frank, sorry you had to wait a little bit longer there, but how you doing, Frank?
Yeah, not too bad, Father Steve. How are you?
Very, very well. Yeah, we were talking a little bit about wallets earlier with iSavior. Did you have a kind of a comment about that, or?
Yeah. I got my I've been in crypto for a while, and I got my first dusting yesterday. It's called BB&B Fan Club. Just keep an eye on it for guys that came into my MetaMask, my SafePal. So, but also going about security. Didn't OpenSeas have a ETH exploit not long ago, a few months ago, and people lost money?
Yes, they did.
So so it just shows you have to be really vigilant with everything. And it's it's disgusting that there's people out there that want to do that to other people. But be vigilant, guys. And I agree. Spread your holdings across a few wallets I have. I've got them across SafePal, MetaMask. And once Atlas comes with the 50 options, I'm going to be putting everything into separate wallets again. So just be safe.
Yeah, appreciate that. And one thing that I think is important too is that whenever we engage with another site, they may have the best intent as possible, but we're taking our chances. Whereas, for instance, like with EverGrow site, we know that it's been under attack and all that stuff, and we've managed to do just fine with it. So if we keep it to ourselves and we know the site's safe, then I feel a little bit better about that. Whereas if we're trusting another company, we can't really monitor what they're doing, and we can't tell, if they're following safe practices and all that stuff. So I'd rather just keep it in house. At least that's my opinion, anyway.
Agreed, 100%.
Dan, we had talked. I'm sorry, you cut out there, Cody. What was that? You still there, Cody?
I lost the connection for a second. If there was a reply, I didn't hear it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no worries. No, I heard you talking, and then all of a sudden it just cut out.
I was just saying, hey to Frank NFT. Hope he's doing well.
I'm here every Sunday, mate. So sometimes I speak, sometimes I don't. But just looking forward to V2, but mainly looking forward to Atlas. I hope that drops soon. Because as I stated on the Creator Core Twitter, I said I've got this spider, my spider senses are tingling. It's either a brain tumor or Atlas is dropping this week, and I'm hoping it's Atlas.
I'm just going to smile and nod my head and say I'm with you and excited, my friend.
I know Sam had said that it looks like LunaSky is going to be first, but that could change. You never know, right?
I'll tell you my opinion. I'll be straight with y'all. I like to be as transparent as I can. Reality is it is very, very likely, super high percentage likely that LunaSky will come out before Atlas. Now, I'm not going to say it's 100%. Why? Well, because I don't know that. But I will say that it is an extremely high 90s% that LunaSky will be out before Atlas. So there you go. You can take that.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I mean, it's just where it is, right? The development process is all. That's where they are in the development process is all. They being Atlas and Luna. So yeah, Luna's. I mean, again, I'm 98% sure that it's going to come out before Atlas. I'll put it that way. There you go. But doesn't mean you're going to have to wait long for Atlas. At least we hope, right? So it's going along or coming along really well. Sam loves putting out the updates about that because him and Paul are so involved with that aspect of the build. So, everything he said about it is 100% transparent. It is coming along really fast and really, really well. So it's really cool to see. Totally different team, by the way. I think everybody knows that. I mean, we've talked about it, but that is a completely different development team that is building LunaSky.
Hopefully, we'll start to see at some point some videos of kind of, the interface and kind of the functionality of it. That'd be great to see. But, obviously you don't want to spill the beans too early either.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a development team building Atlas. There's a development team building LunaSky. I really want to say more, but I'm gonna hold off.
I said on Discord, I believe it was last week, because we were talking about Atlas Wallet and the release of it and when it's going to release. And I kind of went against the flow a little bit, and I said, listen, personally, I wouldn't mind if Atlas Wallet was to be released in, we needed a few more months, Q3. Personally, I wouldn't be affected by it or care that much. I would much, much rather wait and have it done properly than rushing it. I dislike rushing for any reason. As far as the sentiment to that, yeah, people didn't like that very much.
Well, hey, I get it. I agree 100%, man. I'm with you, man. Whatever comes out first needs to be whatever is 110% ready. Not 99% ready, not 99.9% ready, 110%
Exactly.
ready. So we've been down this road before. Early in the conversation here, it was when you guys were talking about the beta and Moon, you so gracefully said, we all know it wasn't great. You're 1,000% right. We all know that it absolutely was not great. We were in a position where we had to make a choice. We made the choice to push it out at the time because we also, learned from some mistakes prior to that by, releasing information about dates that it was going to be ready. And guess what? We were wrong. We made a mistake. And, obviously we paid the consequences for it. But like you said too, hey man, took it on the chin. We reassessed. We decided what we needed to do, which was a fresh new build and not improve upon a beta that is essentially where it's at. And here we are now. So, yeah.
And that's where 99.9% of my respect from the EverGrow team comes from. And it's more, less of what happened with LunaSky and more of what the response afterward was. That's what I respect. That's what I like to see. And honestly, I've forgotten already. So, great job.
We appreciate that. I don't want to just say we appreciate that. I mean, I said it last week, I think, in the Spaces, and maybe even the week before, and I'll say it again. There have been a lot of learning curves, like any, business goes through, any project, any startup. There's been mistakes, and there's been a lot of acclimation periods, all of those things combined are the reason why we are here now doing things the way we're doing them. And I think that's a great thing because otherwise we'd still be doing them the way we were. And the way we were, clearly we all know, had some, issues, right? So learn from the mistakes, try not to repeat them, move forward, right?
One thing I've noticed from the outside kind of looking in is that when there's high stress within an organization, there's usually fissures that I see, and there's usually like people start to break off and do their own thing, and there's like this infighting. With you guys, it seemed like it brought you closer together, and like you just kind of more cohesive. And I mean, I don't know if that's 100% what it's like, but it sure seems that way, and I really admire that because this is kind of a crucible for you guys, all this stress and the delays and all these things that have happened, and you guys just managed to keep it together, keep focused, keep building, keep going forward, and I really admire that about you guys.
Yeah, you just got to keep grinding, I mean, you make a mistake, you learn from it, and you do your best not to repeat it, and most importantly, you accept ownership of that and acknowledge it.
That is so rare. It really is. I mean, you just don't see that a lot. You just see a lot of diversion, deflection, rather than just own it and move on. You know what I mean? I think people respect that more.
Precisely. And let me tell you, Steve, I can speak a little bit to this. I'm not on a court team, obviously, but I did have a little bit of an inside view on some of it. And I can tell you, you're wrong. There was fighting. There was some sort of, damn it, the sentiment was down. But that's where, the quality of this community really comes in. At some point, we all decide, okay, hang on. This ain't going to lead anywhere. Let's, pull our pants up. Let's take a step back. Let's analyze, and let's fix this. And that's what, separates us from other projects like what you just said. The ability to do that is everything.
That's a great point. I'd like to speak to that. You're absolutely right. Whether it be internally and or externally, it's always both, of course. But in regard to both of those things, you're correct. There's always going to be confrontation. The aspect of that and the thing about that, I think, is how is that confrontation going to occur? Can there be confrontation that can be handled maturely? Can there be debate that can be handled maturely or not, right? We're all human. We've all experienced in our lives, personally and probably professionally, having confrontations that weren't handled the way they probably could have been, right? That resulted in productive action going forward, et cetera. So, yeah, there's going to be confrontations. There's going to be disagreements. There is going to absolutely be debates, and sometimes there's even going to be heat, But at the end of the day, it's can we do those things in a mature and professional way, internally and externally for the community, right? And continue moving forward. So,
exactly.
And I guess it all, what point of view are you, are the people coming at it from a point of like, how is this going to benefit me, or how is this going to benefit the project? I've always kind of looked at it, even in my job, my position, sometimes, you just get, put into a position where you're not necessarily comfortable, and they're like, they want you to do something, and I always say the same thing. Do whatever you think is best for the project, and I'll just kind of go with it. If you think this is what's best, then I'm here for the project. Whatever's best for the project. Ultimately that's what counts. That's what the client's paying for. So that's kind of where I look at it.
Yeah, I agree. And we've always been a big proponent, myself especially, since day one of like, look, even, like day one being in Discord is just a person who joined Discord and bought the token and eventually became like what they used to call an educator back then. We call them helpers now, and then a mod and admin, et cetera. Even back then, just trying to be a big proponent of A, assuming positive intent, and B, if you have an issue with something, just approach it in a mature fashion, Like, it is okay to tell anyone in life, not just like the owners of a project that you hold a token in, I don't like this, and here's why. I have a problem with this, blah, blah, blah. But I just think that sometimes, especially in the digital world and behind that keyboard, a lot of times that kind of thing gets lost, right? It's like, look, it's okay to disagree. It's okay to have an issue with the way we're doing something. It's okay to bring it up and talk to us about it. You don't get, we said this 1,000 times, right? You don't get blocked for expressing your opinion. You get blocked for being disrespectful, you know what. And let's just lay it out on the table. If you're not a disrespectful, you know what, then you can say whatever you like to me, and I will even go to bat for you. And I will respect your opinion, even if I don't agree with it.
And I've seen that multiple times from you, from Rocket, from Sam, Paul, everyone on Telegram. I've seen it so many times. Even in situations where I can say I'm a helper on Telegram, but I can say that I would have lost my crap. So kudos to you guys on that, because sometimes it's not easy. But I do have to say, this is not just in crypto. This is a thing that applies. You're right, on to everyday life. The reality is, if you go to any establishment for any service or product and you get wronged by whatever reason, by a broken product or a service that was not good, that's great. And you have the right, to complain or to demand a better service. But if you go at it shooting everybody and calling names to everybody and being a Karen, sorry, you're out the door. You already lost. Even if you have been wrong, that is not how you handle it. So
yeah, 100%. Sorry, man, let me cut you off. Go ahead.
Totally agree. Yeah, no, it's I've seen some pretty, I don't know, I won't say unusual stuff, but just kind of in Discord or whatever like that. But I really appreciate that Mods just kind of take care of it and say, if you got a question, that's cool. But like, be respectful. You know what I mean? And it's not too much to ask.
Again, to that point, I think also it's very important to try and always assume positive intent in any situation in life, especially when you're having interactions and interpersonal, interactions with other people. It's like, well, people are people. We're emotional beings. Some of us are a little more in control of that than others, and that's okay, man. There is nothing wrong with like being an emotional person. There's nothing wrong with being a passionate person. Some people are just very passionate. How does passion come out? It comes out emotionally, Like, that's all good. it's just very important to remember, to Moon's point, like out there in the world, don't ever treat someone bad because you're unhappy about a situation. Even if they personally wronged you, you should still take the higher road. You can get your point across without getting down on that level, you know?
So well said. So well said. Dan, are you still here?
It's a big part of customer service right there.
Oh, absolutely.
That is what it's all about. And I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you bet. I just, we were talking about, just kind of people helping out in the community. And I wanted to know if you wanted to say something about a special person in here that just recently got a little bit of a...
Oh, yeah. I want to welcome Edward Zelda. He's going to be helping me on Facebook. He's a moderator. He's already admin for various groups on different Facebook. And he's going to be moderator on Facebook. But I'm really, really sure that he's going to climb up the ladder real fast to become admin within a blink. He was really proactive and showed initiative. So I reached out to him and asked him if he wanted to join the staff. And he really wanted. And we did a video call. We got everything straight. And he's employed with no salary.
I love it. Y'all, I just have to say, and I have to interject on this because this is exactly how Danny came up, everybody. We had Paul and I were like running the Facebook private group in the early days, and then we had an early moderator in Discord come over to start helping, and that moderator, pointed out Danny and said, I really hate this guy Danny. He'd be like a good guy from Facebook. We're like, hey, cool, man. You're in charge of Facebook. We're just overseeing you. If you need something, if you think it's a good decision, do your thing. And now Danny is the guy, right? And I just love seeing this. It just puts a big smile on my face and a warm feeling in my heart, And Danny, as I tell you, I will never stop telling you, we can't thank you enough for everything you do. Zelda, you saw the message already. I love it. I'm very excited to have you over there with Danny, and thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you, Zelda. I appreciate you dedicating your time to the EGC fam. It's just awesome. Thank you. Danny, I was going to ask you, we had talked a couple days ago about something, and for the life of me, I'm trying to find a screenshot because we were talking about something. I said, Dan, can you maybe...
we were talking about the Chamber of Commerce that was supporting Coinbase in its lawsuit against the SEC. And also we were talking about the Metal blockchain that has integrated the FedNow pay system.
Yes, that was it.
So okay, for me then, I was an analyst in Gain Forces at one point, and that just tells me, I don't know. I think there's a big reversal coming. I think the SEC is going to have. I think Gensler is going to lose his job, and but we have to remember that the Chamber of Commerce and the SEC, they're kind of competitors. Okay, there's a competition between the two. They say that the SEC says it's a security crypto, and the other says it's a commodity. So, but only the fact that they would go publicly to bash the SEC and support Coinbase is telling me that maybe that the SEC is not doing too great. And the fact that the Fed is cooperating with its worst enemy, which is crypto, the only threat it really has, it's telling me that maybe they see that the aggressive approach of the SEC is not going to work, that maybe it's best if they cooperate and try and bring things down from the inside eventually. I don't know, okay? I'm just speculating. But the fact that the Fed integrated FedNow into blockchain, sorry, but it just blows my mind. It's like cooperating with the enemy for me.
It's just like Dan just said. If you guys don't think this is a big deal, it is. It is. You literally have a government agency siding with an exchange against another government agency because of how screwed up the other one, the SEC is. Basically, how much of a mess it is. If that doesn't tell you all you need to know, just like Dan said, then it should. And like he said, I hope to God Gary Gensler loses his job. I think a lot of it is his fault. I really hope they get rid of that guy.
I have a question to ask. If there's somebody on this call right now who has political expertise or is a lawyer, as I understand our American laws, and far be it from me to ever say anything good about Gary Gensler, but he doesn't make our laws. Our senators and our congresspeople pass the laws. The SEC enforces them, as I understand it. So because he is not getting any cooperation from Congress, who apparently seems to have no clue about crypto in general, except for the ones that are profiting from it, he is loath to make any determination. So I think he is playing a waiting game, whether you like the idea or not, with Congress to motivate Congress to get off their fat, overpaid butts and make legislation if there's any needed, which I don't really see as being needed because all of the scams come under current fraud laws. So I don't see any new laws that need to be written. That's an opinion. But am I wrong about my understanding of how our government works? The Congress.
You're totally right. You're totally right. The only thing is, I have to add, is that the SEC's job is to advise the government, advise Congress on what it should do. And in the 13 years that crypto has existed, it has never done anything. So they sat on their ass. They just let that piggy run, and they knew about it. Okay, they probably were on it, and so. That's an important part also.
Yeah, that's go ahead.
Is not also an important part of this that I see, at least I feel, is taking place within our country and with a number of other countries who are virtually trying to outlaw crypto while they do their central bank digital currency. Is this not the fear within our government that the American dollar is going to lose its preeminence to crypto? And they're dragging their feet because they don't know what to do about it? The genie's out of the bottle.
I don't think so. I think that I'm going to... The problem is right now in America, you've got a bunch of states that are rising up against the CBDC. They don't want it. They even outlawed its use in their states. Okay, so you're having a lot of opposition against the Fed, which has never been seen before. Okay, this is huge. Why I think the Fed is maybe cooperating with crypto with this Fed now things is they see that there's a kind of uprising against them. They're being blamed for a lot of the economic problems, and just the fact that states are passing laws to ban the CBDC if it goes, that's immense. You have states basically going against the federal government. It's insane.
And I don't see this as a partisan issue either. I see both sides of the aisle spinning their wheels and not doing their jobs. I still say, do you not see the end of fiat coming globally in maybe 10, 20 years, maybe less? I do. I don't know if you agree.
I think that a fiat-based system will always exist, but maybe if it's the dollar or not, I don't know, because the BRICS alliance is growing exponentially, and they want to release their gold-backed currency, world currency. So that's I think one of the reasons that worries the Fed, that worries the government. There's so much right now on the government's plate. And by the way, I'm Canadian, so I don't know as much about what happens in the USA because our Canadian government, banned certain news from being accessible to our browsers. Yeah, we can't get all the news. The government has to approve the news we see. So
wait a second,
yeah.
what? Really?
Yeah, they approved it a month or two ago. Is Drake here? He can vouch for that. Yeah, they freaking made a law that the content we get on social media and the content we can access through Google, news content only, is decided by what they judge appropriate.
Whoa.
I read that.
I was not aware of that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Canada's now China-da, okay?
I was just about to say, Danny, that sounds very familiar, my friend. My goodness.
Well, you know what? Trudeau openly said so many times that he admires China and he admires Fidel Castro. Does that
what?
like? Oh yeah, you never heard that? Oh man, check on the internet. You're gonna see him admiring Fidel Castro, and also it's. And do you remember at the Ukraine, when they had that security meeting about the Ukraine and the EU, you had two EU Parliament members that were all out on Trudeau, saying he was a dictator, he was a disgrace for any democracy, and for what he did with the Canadian convoy thing. So. But okay, we're talking politics there. Sorry there, but
right.
Yeah, what I mean to say that is that right now the U.S. government, from what information is available to me, is that they have so much on their plate. You've got elections coming up. You've got the debt ceiling that's still not gone through. Am I correct? But is that the longest time that it ever took to raise that ceiling? I think so. Because usually, when Trump was in power, he rose it 4 times a year almost. I may be exaggerate, but it used to pass real fast, and now it's not. And
I don't think that's why, though. I don't think it has anything to do with what president. I just think it's getting so bad. And we're getting so close to it, absolutely, the bubble completely bursting, that it's just taking longer and longer and longer. And it's dangerous and more dangerous every time you do it. I think that's why. And I don't know how to fix that.
And you're perfectly right, because right now, the debt to GDP is 130%. Basically, at 100%, at 80%, I think, you're considered insolvent. So I know there's some countries like China that are even bigger indebted, but it just shows that all of that is because of the central banks. Central banks, if they didn't exist, you would have much less of a problem than you have now, because the money you print out, you don't have to pay interest on it. It's your money that you're printing out. Who the fuck is the Fed to say, okay, we allow you to print money, but you'll give us interest? I don't get it. but I'm just saying that there's so much on the Fed and the government's plate with the banks failing, the economy, that maybe they see crypto as something that they'll just push to the side. They'll cooperate with it maybe right now and try to maybe infiltrate it. And because if they cooperate with crypto, if they start spreading their tentacles everywhere, well, eventually they'll have a hold and they'll be able to take over. That's just a thought.
You're completely right. Dan's completely right about this. And I think it just, when you really think about it, it just boils down to one very simple concept. We've talked about this before, which is central banks, right? And they print money whenever the hell they want. And there's no consequences for that. They just print money out of thin air. But if you print money, I'll see you in 25 years when you get out of jail. At some point,
we're starting to see the consequences of this kind of careless printing. Basically, you look at what's happened over the last few years with everything that happened with the pandemic. I mean, there was just money was just being given away, and this was kind of an experiment that we saw that happened, and I think we're seeing kind of what the fruits of that experiment were. And some it helped out a lot, but in other ways it didn't. And the inflation is directly tied to what the spending would happen.
That's true, Steve. But I mean, I can't in good conscience, be against like some people are. What happened during the pandemic. I mean, it was a worldwide pandemic like we've never seen before. We had people struggling. You can have people outside. Homeless had to find a place to stay. They didn't have a place to stay. So, you know what I'm trying to say?
It was kind of an unprecedented time, and it's easy for us to look back and say, "Oh, okay, well, I would have done this." But
exactly,
we were living in a very, very different time where we didn't know what was going to happen. I mean, I have asthma, so I had to be very, very careful of who I was around. I mean, I had to be masked, and despite your feelings about masks, I was just trying to protect myself and my family. So, despite what the political outside of political, we were in the unknown. You know what I mean? And but I do want to switch gears real quick because there was something that Glenn Harding had brought up, and it kind of a couple of people commented on it, and I think it was really a good point. And he had actually said in his tweet, "I'm confused. Is EverGrow considered a meme coin? Why does it seem like a meme coin now? I feel like we should distance ourselves from meme coins." I'd like you guys to kind of contribute to that if you don't mind. First of all, I'm kind of curious why he felt that it was like that. Do you have any opinions?
I do. I replied to him, actually. I love Glenn. He's super nice, always comments, has been around a long time, great guy. I can recognize his point of view, He obviously sees what he sees from the tweets and the comments from the top down, right? And then the community, of course. So, I didn't look at it for anything more than just inquiry, right? He's wondering, what's going on? Why all the meme stuff lately, And just like I replied to him, no, EverGrow's absolutely not a meme coin. We have an agenda, and our agenda is to obviously be a company that develops products that are consistent and long-lasting to generate revenue. But at the same time, we have a sense of humor. People, we can let loose. We can be sign of the times, as I like to say, and we can adapt to our surroundings. And I don't think there's anything wrong with intermingling and commingling with other projects, other companies, other, social situations that are going on, right? So it's like, this is the space we're in, I think it's important to loosen the tie a little bit, as they say, right?
And I think I had asked Paul, this was a few months ago, about kind of marketing, in my infinite wisdom of marketing, ideas for things to get the word out, right? And then, one of my brilliant ideas was we see banners. We're in San Diego, where we see these planes flying around with banners hanging over all the time. They're always advertising different things. I was like, why don't we advertise EverGrow? And he said, yeah, you can spend $5,000 or something like that on that, and it's not a lot of money. But you've got to think of who you're advertising to. Who is your market? Who is likely to look at that banner and say, oh, that's cool, I'll go check it out. The majority of people would just look at it and go, whatever, because you're not advertising to necessarily a crypto following space, right?
Yeah.
And so, did you want to?
The wrong target audience, basically.
Yeah. Let me read this, actually. I'm sorry, Steve. Go ahead. We'll finish, and I'll read what Rocket said about this because he made a great point. Go ahead.
Yeah, and so I think because I'm sorry, my dog's just packing up a hairball here, but with the trending in meme tokens right now, there's nothing wrong with kind of borrowing that and adapting it to our particular situation, because to be honest, they're kind of funny. and I really enjoy the creativity. So I don't see anything really wrong with that, personally.
Yeah, I mean, agreed. To my point, I replied to him with, and then to Rocket's point, he replied to him as well, and he said, a meme coin where the only utility is its nomadic nature. No, we're not a meme coin. We are a utility project, and the community makes memes. Let me scroll down a little bit, because I think he may have gone on to that a little bit. No, he did not. But yeah, also great point.
Yeah, I think with memes being so incredibly popular right now, it's a trending thing, and there's nothing wrong with adapting. It's just like a new song that you hear. All of a sudden, there's a commercial for a car that uses that song or something. They're doing the exact same thing. They're piggybacking on a trending thing, and they're hoping that it's going to generate interest for their particular product. And so, yeah, people can come and check out EverGrow, and if it's for them, it's for them. If it's not, it's not. But there's nothing wrong with kind of using a trending topic or meme or whatever, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I agree. That's taking it too far, right? Just because the new designer did EverGrow Man with Shiba and Pepe, and there's a few jokes going around, does not mean EverGrow is a meme coin. That's taking it too far. We're just having some laughs here.
Yeah, and I think something too that and to Glenn's defense too, I don't think he realizes either that we have a lot of friends in that space too. We as the company, EverGrow is a legit business, and we're trying to build a long-lasting company here. But we've got friends all over, and if that's you should have friends in other projects. You should have friends. A lot of people think, well, these are your competitors in a lot of ways. So they may be on one side of the table, but on the other side of the table, these are people we know. These are EverGrow holders. These are people that even had worked for us at times that went off on their own, and we support them, There are many projects like that, and then some of those projects happen to be NFT projects, other token projects, memes, creators, developers, etc. So, yeah, we got friends in those spaces, So,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I
think Violet was just.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, cut out there, Cody. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to add to Moon's point was that. Can you hear me? Yeah. So to Moon's.
Go ahead.
Okay. Last thing to Moon's point, the new 3D developer Cole. Obviously, he is in that space. He's been doing this a long time in that space. That's why, he's a friend of ours, and that's why we asked if he would be interested in, if we could hire him for some services, and he did a fantastic job. He's super talented, super nice, and, he was the guy. So my point with that is, it's like to Moon's point, he made those designs because that is what we asked him to do. That wasn't him, that was us. We asked him to do that. Specifically, Rocket forefront or ran that aspect of it, right? So yeah, it's fun.
I don't know. I'm aware. I'm not saying that was his idea. I know that.
Yeah. But yeah, reach out, right? We can't live in a tiny bubble here as EverGrow. We're not a meme token. That's not our objective, right? But we have friends all over. So.
Yeah, I've seen lots of tweets from different people going to different projects and investing into things that they believe are potential potential projects that that can make them. And hey, all the power to you. If you think that's works for you, go for it. And it's not like your loyalty is needed for EverGrow only. It's a wide world out there. Go for it.
We can all support each other. There is nothing wrong with that.
Exactly.
That's how it should be.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so yeah, man. Let me give a quick shout out here to some good people who are listening here. Rick BB, good to see you. I saw Violet here a minute ago, and she had to drop out probably. EverGrow Creator, Trek Journey, love your new NFTs. I think I made a post about one just the other day. In Sam We Trust, hope you're doing well. And that license plate that I talked about, I think it's being delivered today, so I'll try and do a video of that for you. And EGC Mike, as always, Jack of all trades. Space Cat, haven't seen you in a very, very long time. Welcome back. Hope you've been very, very well. And we see who else in here? Big B, and who else? So I see Will, Wickles House, Safe Moon DG, and Michael Sunrise, and HP, and on and on and on. And we got Chris Agate. My apologies if I didn't pronounce that name properly. Matthew DC2, and Adam Adler, and Abk. Good to see you. It's been a while. Been a minute. Hope you guys are having a great day. If any of you guys want to come up and speak, have questions about EverGrow, by all means, or Atlas Wallet, just put up your hand. More than happy to bring you up or request to speak.
Steve, sorry for the background noise there. I have a request for the community, and that is if anybody has any ideas for social media which currently does not have a platform for EverGrow or LunaSky or Lucro, but especially for LunaSky, would you please message me, send me a direct message with your suggestions for social media that you would like to see a LunaSky presence on it. Pinterest is not cooperating with me, and I'm ready to move to a new venue or venues. So I would like the community's suggestions, please.
What other options are there? We got Instagram, Facebook. You can do some work on Twitter. But are there any other real kind of? We've got TikTok covered, right? So, is there any other platforms that anybody can think of that would be a really good fit for LunaSky NFTs?
Two others that I have thought of, and I hope there's more. And that's one is DeviantArt, and the other one is Tumblr. None of them have the impact that I saw available in Pinterest, but I'm not privy to a complete, total knowledge of what all is out there, and that's why I'm asking for other people's opinions.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It's tough out there because all it takes is a flick of the algo to really have a negative impact. I've noticed it a lot on LunaSky NFT Instagram page. It's like we were just moving right along, and all of a sudden it just changed. And some people seem to get really some great traction, and other people don't. And I wish I could really understand it, but it's kind of a trade secret. That's what makes them. They have a lot of proprietary data that we just can't see. So, but all we can do is just keep grinding, right? So that's just my opinion. Anybody having any questions, like I said earlier, about the wallet or LunaSky V2 that is pending or staking or anything like that? I don't know if I mentioned earlier, but if you did want to stake your Lucro, the website is Brewlabs.info, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just go there right now because I want to double check. Brewlabs.info. And it's a little bit, I wouldn't say it's like hard, but you've definitely got to do it once to figure it out. And one of the things I got stuck on was when I connected my wallet, I didn't change from ETH to BB&B, and it wouldn't show what my balance was. And for some reason, I got stuck there. But actually, believe it or not, Sam helped me out. He just kind of tweeted and said, "Hey, do you need help with this?" So yeah, super easy. And I think I've earned, I don't know, again, it's not a crazy amount, but it's like around 10%. So that's in a year, right? 10% per annum. Of course, that will fluctuate, and you have the ability to compound too. So let's say after a month, you're seeing the rewards. You can roll those rewards right back into your principal balance, and then you're earning essentially interest upon the principal and your earned tokens as well. So you can really play that to your advantage and get a little bit more. So that's an option too. Cody, do you have any favorite NFTs that you've seen come up lately that you had your eye on?
Oh, that's a good question. Always a good question because I have a hard time kind of deciding between them. Lately, I have not been minting or purchasing only because I've been so involved with prepping for this launch. So, no, I don't at the moment. I don't, yeah. But I'm very excited to see, because I know a lot of people personally, myself included, are holding off on some collections for the full launch, so I'm very excited to see it. I'm setting aside some funds right now to make purchases when that full launch happens of some of the new collections we'll see.
Apparently, Sam's doctor told him he has to calm down a little bit. And honestly, I saw that coming from a mile away. And you guys know, because I talked about that on Discord and Telegram. Almost got my head chewed off. It's never that simple. You can't overdo yourself. You just had a freaking surgery. You know what I mean? I saw that coming.
Yeah, the temptation. I mean, you can tell he's a hard worker, and I don't think anything's going to slow him down. But for terms of NFTs, Frank's, I really like that collection. That Loby did the Anguish one, the Signature collection. That is absolutely beautiful. Love that one. And also EverGrow Giant Pro has got the Punk Lady collection that I thought was really, really cool. And
Hey, Steve?
what was the other one? Yeah.
Was I, maybe my audio didn't come through there, I guess. Not sure if you heard me. I replied to the NFT question.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear all of it. I must have cut out or something.
I turned off Wi-Fi and went to cellular because I thought that was the case. As soon as Moon started speaking, I was like, oh, guess I didn't have any audio. No, I was just saying I currently don't have any, but only because I haven't been buying or minting myself lately, so I haven't been looking heavily, just because preparation for the launch. But I am very excited and have been setting funds aside for the full launch because I know a lot of people have got collections waiting to mint once that full launch comes out, myself included. So I'm very excited to see what everybody's got just waiting in the ranks.
I know firsthand there's a lot of people waiting to both sell and buy.
Absolutely.
Me too. Me as well. I am one of them.
Christopher, how you doing?
Hi. I'm still searching for a new job. I had let's say interviews this week about being again a compliance officer. Furthermore, I think even maybe I changed my job and go and become a trader. Yes, how so I financed my studies when I lived in Germany. Yes, 1,000 euros taken, invested, made them to 20, and financed my studies. Yep, but okay. But yeah, what I can say is I think about whether I change a little bit. Yes, make a new job field and make a restructuring. Yes, when it's going so hard to get something. What I can say at first is this week was very interesting, how he has changed the taxes. Okay, from my side, the tax change is good in this way, that the people have less losses. Yes, when the staking comes, we know from Lucro, still, that many people have lost coins, yes, through the tax that was when they gave it in Brewlabs. What I hope is he will soon release, yes, that the project goes up. The first days, yes, we had a high volume, this is correct, but now it's falling again. I would like to know, is this correct, that they even make banners on Bloomberg and some bigger news companies? Thank you.
I know I've seen on KuCoin, I've seen some ads there, but as far as the marketing campaign, unless it's Cody wants to speak to it, I think it's kind of a trade, kind of like they're guarding where they're advertising right now. Cody, I don't know if you can speak to that.
That's exactly right. Yeah, I mean, you see some of the banners that Sam has posted about some of the KuCoin, etc. As we make further agreements for banners in other places, we'll certainly publicly disclose that.
So one thing that, you were talking a little bit about the tax and, how volume spiked, right? And then, now it's kind of coming back down. There's a couple ideas behind that. I mean, somebody had said, people are kind of like in a holding pattern waiting for utility to launch. I think there's some truth to that. People are kind of, okay, I'm investing, but before I put in more, I want to see a utility or I want to see a product launch, right? I think that's partially it, but also if marketing is only 1 of 10, then it's just because we've only dialed in 1 of 10. So we really have opened it up to a bunch of other potential investors. So I think that's part of it. Sometimes, at the beginning, there's this kind of mad rush that, hey, I better buy in now, especially since there's a tax drop because we don't know how long this is going to last. I think there's that. If there's an announcement, there isn't. But let's just say that the tax goes back to a normal previous, then you may see a huge rush to buy then because they're going to want to buy it at cheap, right? But there's not been an announcement of that at all. So
yeah. But one advantage what it has is if he releases EGC staking, when the EverGrow can be staked. The advantage will be in this way that in this moment the taxation is lower. What means in this moment more people will stake the coins. I still know February, yes, when people have staked EverGrow that they noticed, yes, when they transfer the Lucro coin to Brewlabs, yes, they were taxed, yes, and had at first less coins in the taxation, yes, in the staking.
It's only 1% though. I mean, if you staked, 50 million. What is that in 1%? I think you lost like 5,000 tokens or something. So that's easily made back, in just probably a month. You know what I mean? So, and then you compound.
I stake with 10 million coins and 10 billion EverGrow I have in my hand when it's starting. Also, for sure, I will stake. Yep. It will be interesting when the wallet comes and everything. Now I sit only here and wait till he makes this. I hope really we make a jump. Let's say when everything is released. Yeah, only the wallets alone. I hope we are coming 2 zeros up again.
So with EverGrow staking, the advantage obviously is you're going to get a reward for it, right? Personally, I'd rather be rewarded in the native token in this particular case, but other people might say, hey, I want another opportunity to, get reflections in a different way, perhaps USDT or USDC, whatever it may be. Personally, I have my eye on the Bitcoin version, which is that. What is that? What is the Bitcoin stablecoin? Does anybody want to speak out to that? That's the one I kind of like. But hey, stablecoin.
Whatever it is, Steve, I think the most important factor here, at least for me, is having the choice of multiple. So a person can choose whatever they want. I think that's 100%. Very important.
Yeah, 100%. And then, so yeah, you're taking your tokens out of circulation, you're staking them, and you're hoping that people are seeing the large enough rewards where they want to keep those tokens within the staking pool. And by doing that, you're essentially taking tokens out of circulation temporarily, and you might see, an increase in price. So that it's a double benefit, right? I know I'm going to go for the EGC. I want more, more to my bag, but that's just me personally. It's nice to have the choice. It's nice to have the option for something different. I would love to see 2 zeros drop too. That'd be fantastic, But I think what that's going to take is the utilities launching, and then hopefully we see some adoption, we see revenue coming in, and then once people start to see that hey, this is a utility that is making profit for this ecosystem, that's when you get people's attention, because really that doesn't exist all that well. Yes, there are crypto projects that's their kind of fundamental, but in DeFi, this is pretty something special. So I can't wait to see it launch. And I don't know which one's going to outperform which, but I think my money's on the wallet personally, just because of the numbers. But it's hard to really know. It really is. You can't predict these things. It could be the games. You never know, right? It could be the. I'm so sorry, Cody. You're cutting out on my hand.
You're cutting off, Cody.
How about now? Is that any better?
Way better. Thank you, sir.
Better.
Sorry about that. I was just going to actually, I'd like to comment to your point about which one you thought would obviously generate more revenue. That's what you're referring to, right? As far as Atlas, Luna, the games, etc. I agree with you. LunaSky is going to take time. You got to build that type of platform, right? That kind of thing doesn't get launched and then boom, there's all this money moving through it. It's just not how it works with NFT platforms at all. You've got to build the platform. You've got to build users. You've got to build a lot of things. There are projects on the platform, etc. And then those things themselves have to generate revenue. Things like Atlas Wallet are designed to generate amounts of revenue through usage in the various ways we've talked about. And then, of course, like the games as well. So, yeah, I'm in agreement with you on that, Steve. I think over time, though, if we can really, it's going to be hard work for a marketplace. It's going to be harder for that than it is for anything else. But I think if we do it right and over time with the community and just,
there's so many opportunities within the NFT space. Yeah. I would not count it out by any means.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's just going to take time. It's going to take longer with that, of course. I think if we do it right, eventually we'll get there with it. Absolutely.
I know it's kind of fallen off a little bit in terms of, what we talked about, and ticketing, the huge potential within ticketing. I mean, it presents such an enormous opportunity, and it doesn't necessarily even have to be something like, the big dogs in there like Ticketmaster and all that stuff. It could be small venue stuff. It could be anything really, but there's just so many opportunities with NFTs that I probably can't even think about that could be huge revenue streams. So
100%. It's a great point too, and it's not that it's necessarily fallen off for us. It's just a matter of obviously adapting to the current state of things, right? So NFT ticketing is certainly something that is still on the books for us that we want to be able to explore. The reality is that we got to build a platform first. We got to build a community first. We've got to build the numbers to be able to approach bigger companies, and not even necessarily extremely large companies, but companies that are already out there making tickets that may want to go this digital route. We've got to have something to show them. If we go to them right now, they're going to laugh at us, right? So that's the reality of NFT ticketing. But yeah, I agree with you. There is an absolutely amazing. It's just an absolutely amazing opportunity for NFT ticketing at some point down the road, and I hope that point isn't very far away.
For sure. I think, I think to say one or the other, it would be interesting to, kind of a friendly competition between the two of them, Atlas and LunaSky, to see how they develop over time. And I'm just glad to be part of it. So it's going to be interesting to see, because I think personally the adoption of the wallet is going to be pretty. I think it's going to be pretty remarkable, as long as marketing goes the way I think it's going to go. But yeah, and then of course the user experience that will dictate everything. Now, I was listening to I think about BlackBerry of all things. There was a podcast about Blackberries, and I remember back in the day. I don't know if any of you guys used one, but Blackberries were a Canadian company by a company called Research in Motion, RIM for short, and they made this, basically device where you had a keyboard on it, and it was like a phone with a keyboard and a display. And I loved that thing. I thought it was just amazing. Perfect for office, perfect for emailing, perfect for texting. It had everything that I wanted. But the problem is iPhone, as they put it, is just sexier. And it just dominated. And
my wife had one, and she swears by that thing. Like, oh my God. She makes it sound like the best thing that was ever built.
If they honestly released one and it had the same features of iPhone, I would probably go back, honestly, because I loved it so much.
This is so interesting because last night I heard an ad for, I think there is a documentary coming out about this. The magnificent rise and fall of BlackBerry. I forgot, that's not what it was called, but it was something very similar to that. That was kind of the tagline they used. But gosh, I think I was watching something and I heard an ad for this. So there may be a documentary coming up, or a docu-series maybe coming up soon for this. That'd be cool.
Yeah, and RIM was like the crown, one of these crown jewels of the Canadian, business place, right? Everybody knew what BlackBerry was in the U.S. and globally. And the nice thing about that is because you were on the BlackBerry network, it was highly secure. So you didn't really have to worry about these kind of issues with other phones. Now, obviously, with iPhone and with Android phones, the security has come up. I mean, it's take leaps and bounds, right? But at the beginning of like kind of where cell phones were. RIM had it. They were doing a great job. But I think iOS benefited and Google benefited by the, independent developers coming up with, apps and all that stuff. RIM didn't really have that. It was all internal, to my knowledge, and they just could not keep up with, with new things.
And that was the problem right there, Steve. The story is the same story as BlackBerry, is the same story as Nokia in my head. They failed to adapt. 100%. And when you fail to adapt, this is what happens, unfortunately.
Yeah, you've got to be nimble in the technology space, that's for sure. Look how much has changed just even that I've seen for LunaSky and for the wallet. I mean, it hasn't been that long, and just so many things have changed in the marketplace. So you've got to be nimble. You really have to be. Christopher, did you have any other questions? Or was that just it? Was that about the...
I say this, I hope only that this all will recover, EverGrow will go up again, and I hope that this utilities, because as I understand when I spoke to him on Tuesday in his AMA, I participated. I'm sure you still know how I asked him the question. Yes, am I correct when I say, and this I asked for the community, yes, and only the utilities shall burn, and the coin by itself will, in this moment, give the rewards for holding it. Okay, yeah, he said, yes, currently, yes. I still know how he said the current tax is only for 3 weeks around, and then he will make something again. Yes, this I still have in remembrance. My question is only, okay, when the utilities are, how many people will use it on the first day when it's out? And the question is further, will he advertise over big things like over Bloomberg television, for example? Yes, because I still know there was something mentioned.
If there's an opportunity there to do so, I imagine he will, absolutely. The more places that we can advertise, the better, right?
Would be very clear about.
There's no question a television interview would do pretty remarkable things, but I think having the product available to use and it's working and we know it's working, there's no bugs in it, because the last thing you want to do is attract a bunch of audience and then it doesn't work, because then it's gonna it has the opposite effect, right?
Right. Go ahead.
I say only this would be the other side, yeah? So let's say he's marketing very big. In the end, yes, the contrary happens. He cannot release. This would make EverGrow unbelievable. But I think he knows what he makes, yeah? So I say it will work very well out. As I heard, yes, from Atlas Wallet, they had still 50 errors or bugs, he said, yes, what they have to repair, and then they can release. Let's hope this is solved, and then in this moment I would like to know, where is he currently everywhere advertising? He spoke about influencers on YouTube. I don't know.
So they said that Sam had said that their marketing is kind of a 1 out of 10 right now. So wherever we see it, I saw PooCoin and stuff like that. There's probably elsewhere, but they're not divulging where they're advertising. And when you see it, that's when you're going to know it. And I think probably because, you don't want to kind of tip your hat, and advertise in places and then other people try to copy. So you talked a little bit. Go ahead, Cody.
Well, I was just going to say, Steve is right here, Christopher, and also to your question about YouTube, influence, etc. We're in conversations with different influencers, and we'll kind of leave it at that. So that's obviously an avenue as well. But Steve is correct in the sense that we're just getting ramped up and have started some light marketing. This will increase in the next several weeks. As those things increase, we'll probably disclose what we are doing to market as well.
And we were talking a little bit about... Oh, go ahead, man.
Yeah, let me just say that also one thing regarding expectations. I always feel like I have to say this. We're not Pepe, okay? We're EGC. And I've spoken to a lot of people, not a lot, but a few people, who they think that as soon as LunaSky and Atlas Wallet are released, we're going to moon, we're going to replace Bitcoin, and it's going to be, the unicorns and Lambos for everybody. And I have to say, settle those expectations a little bit. Hang on. Because even if that were to happen, I don't think it will, but even if that were to happen, it doesn't happen overnight. The utilities have to sit, adoption has to increase, profits have to be generated, usage has to increase, it has to spread, and it needs time above everything. It cannot happen like that. And I feel like some people miss that fact, and we need to make that clear.
So I think people have this expectation. I mean, look at what happened with Pepe, right? They were completely transparent. They said, hey, we have no utility whatsoever. And they skyrocketed, right? So people have this expectation that this crypto project that has no utility goes up like crazy. Why is it that we are a project that actually has utility and we don't do exactly the same thing? It's a very, very difficult question to really answer why that happens. Is it timing? Is it how people advertise? Is it hype? Is it a combination?
It's because we're not fueled by the same thing. That's essentially what it boils down to. And whether you like it or not, they may be mooning now, but I don't think that's a long-term thing that will keep happening year over year. But utilities, that does that job. So it makes sense that one will be so much faster in the short term, and the other one's so much slower in the long term. So basically, it's two different types of things. They're fueled by different things, if that makes sense.
Think of it like the blue chips like we used to, see in traditional stocks, right? So you had the blue chip companies that were making profits. They were making product. They were quarterly, every quarter, making a little bit more. Maybe they didn't make as much, but they were kind of like this juggernaut that kept going. And even though the market would crash in 2008, whatever it may be, right, they still kept doing their thing, and they recover, usually quicker than everybody else. So even though the crypto market might be down, if we're making profits from utilities, that should have some effect. Because if everybody, let's say the entire crypto market goes down, yeah, we are tied to BNB, and we're gonna go up and down with BNB, but the work should speak for itself, right? If we're burning EGC and we're making profits and we're transparent about it, then we just got to let it ride. We just kind of let it do its thing, and people will catch on. That's how I think. Anyway. There was a question that I was going to address here. CryptoPilot, thanks for the question. What's your guys' thought on using an iPhone as a cold wallet? It's a great question. I've heard of it before. What do you think, Moon or Cody?
Well, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, does he mean in the sense of obviously on there having instructions and then turning off the not connecting into the internet? Is that?
Yeah, it's hard to know, but you were cutting out a little bit.
Okay,
but
can you hear me?
I'm guessing, yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, I was just saying, I'm going to assume that what they actually mean is holding tokens in something like a MetaMask or a Trust Wallet on an iPhone, disconnecting from the internet, so disassociating from any network connection, turning it off and putting it in a drawer. I assume that's probably what they mean.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, because, I mean, it's not Ledger. Right, so, Ledger. Very popular.
Yeah,
it's Ledger.
Yeah. No, so I assume that they just mean keeping it on a device like a phone, turn it off. Well, I mean, obviously the deposit there, you're never going to need to a network until you're ready to connect to a network. Right?
And the nice thing, too, is that let's say you have pending reflections, even though your phone isn't connected, as soon as you do connect, your reflections will load in. And so you can be disconnected for 5 years if you want to, and then load up your phone, and they'll just show up.
Yeah, great point, because it's all on the blockchain. Reflections are reflections. They're associated with that wallet address on-chain. There you go.
So, yeah, I don't see any particular problem with it. I know some people who have phones that they buy specifically for that purpose, like it might be a used phone or something. Just be careful, because, you want to make sure you got a wiped phone and there's nothing on it that potentially could be, clean you out of your crypto.
Yeah, agreed. They're going to log on, disconnect with the drawer, and eventually
So you're cutting out again, Cody, at the end. Michael Sunrise, how you doing? Michael, you can hear us?
Got to unmute myself. Sorry about that.
No worries at all. How are you doing today?
Good. You've probably seen my PFP round. I've been with you guys for a long time, accumulating along the way and kind of living the dream with you guys. I think that there's something missing, though, that is not being conveyed on what this is all about. Because people are waiting for these utilities to come out so they can, catch a wave or, shot to the moon. And that's not really what this is about. This is a long-term building project that will eventually start to generate enough revenue from the utilities where the coin itself, the coin action itself, is irrelevant. And
Thank you.
That's where you need to be pushing this out to the people that aren't in the crypto space. Because as soon as you get the big hitters to start trusting the platform and not relying on the price of the coin, as the determiner of the value of the coin, then you're going to start having people that to invest in the platform instead of investing in the coin. And I don't think that's been presented to the public enough, and I hope that's the direction it goes in, because in the long run, that's the only way this is going to survive. Because as you can see right now in this meme mania that we're going through, you can throw your money at these things and it'll be gone in 2 days. You know, and the ups and downs and the emotional ins and outs of the market, that's not good for the long-term health of anything. And I would really like to see you guys start to build the dream, start to express the future and see what this thing is supposed to be like in the future versus just trying to get it going, you know. And I think that would bring in some people that are looking for a long-term investment versus the I want to get rich overnight kind of guys. Does that make sense?
Yeah, Michael, this is Cody. Great to meet you, by the way. I have seen your PFP around. Yeah, thanks for sharing. That's great feedback. I agree with you 100%, my man. You know, we're a company striving to develop consistent and long-lasting revenue-generating products, just like I tweeted, I think, or applied that to somebody earlier today. So I'm 100% on board with that. You know, and I think overall as a company and from the management perspective, that's clearly where we want to be able to continue pushing it out publicly too, because you're right. I mean, that's what it is all about, 100%.
Yeah, I think that Sam mentioned something in the past in one of those AMAs back last year about, you know, nobody's going to invest in this space until there's some stability. And I think that the EverGrow ecosystem can show that there can be some stability in the space, especially when you have a spoke and wheel kind of situation that we're trying to develop here, where even if one of the utilities doesn't make it and it falls off, we've still got this revenue stream coming from these other utilities. I think that's the kind of story that needs to be told and the kind of dream that needs to be put out there to people, because a lot of people don't even know that this exists. All they see is these people getting shafted repeatedly over and over and over again by these rug pulls or these exchanges, and this space is just a shambles to people that are outside of it. Nobody wants to touch it. So there's a lot of repair that's going to need to be going on, and a lot of trust that's being built by y'all, because we trust you with our money. It's hard to sit and watch, you know, other money go up and down and people making money, but this is the long-term thing that we need in this space. And I'm on board with you guys. I tell my friends all the time, thank you for having me.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much again.
Absolute wise words.
Yeah, wise words, great share. Two words come to mind just listening to you and to your point there. It's relationship building. You're right. You know, we need to reestablish and build relationships in that way going forward. It's like, well, this is not about just price spiking and selling. You know, this is about long-term holding, just like Sam has said. And, you know, Sam has been saying that more recently. You know, hey, this is about long-term holding, and that's the goal, and here's why, per the utilities.
I think, you know, we're so used to crypto being this kind of like Jim Cramer fast money world, right? Where you see these huge spikes and people making, you know, maybe millions or who knows, I don't know how much money. $27 turns into 10 million, or I don't know how much they're making, right? And yeah, there are those projects that are out there, but there's more losers than there are winners by far. And I guess, you know, I've always known that this was that kind of project, and I guess I've always taken it for granted that other people felt the same way, because I've always felt like that messaging was conveyed. But obviously, if you're seeing it from that point of view, maybe we do need to try harder and reach out to people and say, hey, this is like a Berkshire Hathaway kind of a deal. Not necessarily, you know, we're a multi-billion-dollar company, but the values of holding and buying and holding, and you know what I mean? Maybe we need to convey that better.
That's a great point, because it's very important feedback, not only just because it is, but because it's coming from someone in the community. This is the perception Michael has in the community. So again, I think that's really important. So I'm glad you shared it.
Michael, if I could ask, what would that look like to you if you could make a decision and say, you know, hey Sam, this is what I think could happen?
Well, one of the things that I thought was a, I don't know if it was a good call or bad call or what, but when we got to discussing a year and a half ago, rewards versus reflections, you know, Sam was talking about that. producing a 12 times effect on the amount of rewards that you would get versus the buyback and burn. Do you remember that conversation?
I vaguely remember it. Can you refresh my memory a little bit?
Yeah.
I lost part of my connection there, so I personally didn't hear part of what you said, Michael. I'm so sorry.
Do you remember back, Cody,
Steve, did you hear that?
Yeah, back when we were talking about the difference between buyback and burn and rewards, cash
Buyback
rewards versus buyback and burn.
Yes.
Yeah, that was that conversation actually had a longer tentacle than I think a lot of people understand, because the purpose behind the initialization of the conversation was Sam thinking about the bigger picture, and Sam being able to sell this to people outside of the community, people that are hedge fund managers, people that are, big money people that are looking for somewhere, because there's nowhere to make any money right now. The stock market's down, the bonds are in the ditch. Crypto space is rug pull from everything. So if you could create something that the people that invest other people's money feel comfortable enough to put it in, then that's where this thing starts to change and it becomes its own money-making machine, right? When you got that strong foundation of those huge dollars that are holding these coins and waiting for that reward to come through. So every month, that's the return or the dividend kind of per se. And I think he's looking toward that as the long-term opportunity. When it gets stable enough and it's starting to generate some income, and people understand how safe it is to invest, then we go to the big hitters like the hedge fund guys and go, okay, here you go. Here's another platform. Here's another way to generate money for your people, so forth and so on. That's the bigger picture that I have in mind for this.
You're exactly right, and that's exactly where his head's at, to bring in non-traditional crypto investors, but you can't approach them, to your point, where we are currently. It's about working to that, it's working to get to that point. We kind of spoke about this earlier, and I'll use LunaSky as a reference. We mentioned NFT ticketing, right? It's like, well, we can't approach big ticketing companies currently because they're going to laugh at us. We don't have a community, stable platform, revenue coming from it yet. But eventually, when we do, we can continue to approach bigger and bigger companies to maybe implement things like NFT ticketing. Same thing goes for this. So you're 100% on the money here. That's exactly where Sam's head's at.
Yeah, that's why I've stuck with it and kept investing the whole time, because I know that's where we're headed. That's where we're all going to get rich.
Michael, you described what EverGrow is to 100%, basically.
And part of that equation too was the taking down of whales, right, and breaking up wallets, because a lot of traditional investors would look at like EverGrow, and they would see all these top whales and go like, I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole, because one whale could like completely destroy my investment, right? So I think there's these little steps that are happening. They may seem like, okay, well, that's interesting. I understand why you're doing that, but it's leading us in this direction. And I think by the time we're kind of almost there, we're going to see the fruition of it. And Bard, go ahead, please.
I just wanted to mention, can everybody hear me? Because I'm having speaker issues on my phone. I can hear you, but it's through handheld. Anyways, I wanted to bring up .com era, because this is pretty much just like the .com era. You had companies like Amazon, Google, eBay, PayPal, Salesforce. They were coming out in the late 90s, and there was a bear market that came around the 2000s, and they had to grow through that bear market. And guess what? After that bear market, they became ginormous, and they were nothing back in the late 90s. I mean, all these companies that they were competing against, nobody would have thought that a search engine would become a multi-billion-dollar company. You got to think about that. And this crypto era that we're in right now is pretty much the same as that .com era. That's all I wanted to say.
Good point.
Yeah, like with Amazon. I mean, how many years did Amazon lose money? Because they were reinvesting their profits back into themselves, right? And then in order to build this kind of juggernaut that we see what Amazon is now, a lot of people laughed at Amazon because it was just like they're losing money, they're not making anything, but people were just looking at the surface. They weren't looking.
Yeah, they were a bookstore.
Exactly. I mean, we know that the majority of the bookstores right now are either really big or they're really small. There's really nothing in between. You know what I mean? So, but Michael, I do appreciate what you said, and it makes a lot of sense to me because, like I said, I've been in this a while now with EverGrow, and I kind of seen this kind of evolution of things, and I remember that conversation of buyback and burn versus, just traditional rewards, and then, switching gears to buyback and just to reflections to rewards, and, how much that could generate. I think those are kind of question marks, but obviously the contract can be adjusted. I mean, we know that's because we went from a 14% tax to 5% tax. So, but right now the focus is get those utilities going, generate the revenue, and then once we have some kind of credibility to our name, then I think that's going to speak volumes to crypto in general. I think overall right now, there's just too much uncertainty within crypto. I can't really think of a lot of crypto projects out there that I really like. Yeah, they're on it. They're really working on something truly revolutionary. But that's just me.
Well, that's why we're going to stand out head and shoulders above everybody else, because we actually have a plan.
Exactly.
These other guys have a plan to stay in business, so they can figure out an exit strategy, right? We have a plan to stay in business so that we can figure out how to keep generating wealth. Generating wealth and making money are two different things, right? Making money is something you do over and over again. Generating wealth is something you do once, and it keeps paying you for a long time. And that's where we're at with this. And I'm super stoked about it. It's hard to sit and on my hands, clearly, like everybody else. But, you just, I'd rather that be going on versus you guys put something out you have to make excuses for because it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, absolutely. And that's why we've adapted to that plan over time as needed, whether it be from mistakes we've made, learning curves, all the way through market condition changes, right? So, and that's why we're here doing the things the way we are now versus how we were a year and a half ago.
And again, also, I've talked about this before, how the EverGrow team has, the steps they've taken after making a mistake, and that's very important going forward. Learning, admitting to mistakes, learning, and doing better. And honestly, mistakes will happen going forward too. The mistakes are going to happen.
Exactly, and we spent some time talking about that earlier today in this space. As a matter of fact, didn't we? And you're right, they will happen again. And the important thing is that we approach and we learn from them in a better way, a more productive way than we have in the past.
Michael, I really appreciate that, what you said, and by all means, come up and speak anytime you want, because I really agree with everything you're saying. For me personally, over the last, what has it been, 8-9 months or something like that? Of course, I've been part of the community since 2021, just kind of watching things, and I would watch sporadically, and in Discord and Twitter and all that stuff as things progress. But for me, I was like, well, what can I do for this community to support them? Because there's, we were literally going between AMAs, and we would wait for information, and wait for people to key people to talk and all that stuff. And I really, really wanted to create this environment where the community could come together and share ideas, and and all that stuff. And so and now we're seeing this kind of more involvement in the community, and we're bringing new people in, and we're sharing ideas. And I go into Discord and I see there's dedicated channels just for, let's say, product development, like Atlas Wallet suggestions or LunaSky suggestions. This is the heart of what makes EverGrow so special, is that you're asking the community, what is it that you need from a particular product? It's usually the other way around, where the developers come in and say, well, this is what I can give you, and then they have 15 updates later until finally the community gets what they want. Here we're doing it the other way around. We're getting the product that people want right at the beginning. Yeah, it's going to take a little longer, but they're getting exactly what they need, and so that you're satisfied the first time, right? And then if you want to add on little bells and whistles after, by all means. So I think going forward, though, it's one of those things where maybe the messaging can change a little bit. Let me ask you this, Michael, the website, when you go to EverGrow, do you see that? You have to get that feeling about it, that this is a long-term investment. Do you get that feeling about it?
Yes, with the new website I do. With the old website, it was just, how much longer can we ride this pony? The new website, though, it was well put together, well thought out. It's been improved a couple of times since you guys published it. I'm on it all the time, looking at the dashboard, and I actually trade on it. I get my Transact on there. I do some swaps on there. I look at it all the time. I enjoy that website. It's interactive, and I'm really impressed with it. And you guys should get some kudos for having worked that up versus the original one.
Yeah, I think it looks fantastic. And I use the EverGrow swap all the time. It's funny, I was talking to, I think, Denny the other day, and he was saying that he was having issues with PancakeSwap. And I was like, well, I just use EverGrow swap, and he's like, what are you talking about? And so I was like, yeah, I showed him. And here we've had this thing for months. And, it's just sometimes you just got to get in there and explore it, right, and share that knowledge. And, maybe, again, it's an opportunity, right, for me to get out there and say, hey, I just bought EGC and I use the EverGrow swap. It might be just that one tweet that one person was like, oh, I had no idea that we had EverGrow swap in there. And I tell you what, it's so much easier compared to PancakeSwap. No worrying about slippage or anything like that. It's just super easy.
Oh, I'm telling you, I agree. That's why a year plus ago, CP and I made that video about how to buy, and we purposefully made it how to buy, and we did it from the EverGrow swap. We weren't going to show you how to buy EverGrow from PancakeSwap. What's the point? On the EverGrow swap, like you said, it's easy. You don't even have to input a slippage. I mean, it's auto. Everything's good.
Yes, well, thank you. Thanks again for the feedback. I really appreciate it. I love the site too. I love everything about the colors and everything like that. So, but the full functionality, that it's fast, and I think it's a really, really well done project. Who was all involved in that, Cody?
CP built the website. Yeah, I mean, so
amazing
of course, the management team was involved in it. CP built the website, and all of us management at the time helped contribute to that. So, yeah.
Awesome. Amazing work. Yeah. Do you guys still Go ahead.
I have a question. We see the roadmap ahead. We know what you guys are working on. And I'm sure that you guys sit around and brainstorm other things to do, to generate income, revenue in order to do this buyback and burn. Can you give me, I'm not asking you to tell us anything, but can you give us an idea of some of the things that the future holds for this space?
That's a great question. First thing I'll address is your comment about sit around, brainstorm ideas. Yes, all the time. This week especially was a very, very busy week for that exact thing. Some of which we were keeping secret and then was released. Like a small example, Lucro Gaming, right? Sam mentioned this the other day. We kind of laughed about it earlier in the spaces. And I think I messaged Steve and was like, yep, busted. And that was one of the ones we were working on the back end to present to the community soon as another revenue generating tool and something fun for everybody. So, Michael, to your question, there are a lot of things coming up, some of which you're fully aware of. The LunaSkys, the Atlases, the staking elements, Lucro Gaming, or gaming to integrate Lucro. Side note on that for anyone that's new in here, that is not something that's going to be an extremely involved development process. The contract proposals are already on the table. We're just reviewing them. So that is going to be a very quick and very simple thing for anyone from a brand new user to crypto and gaming can get in and have fun with, to someone who's a tenured, experienced crypto holder gamer. Other things down the pipeline, I can't publicly disclose. There are other things. 100%. I have tweeted about this. Maybe I've even said this verbally too. Some of those other things, quotations, there are contract proposals on the tables for those as well. So we are reviewing contract proposals for some of those other things as we speak. And yes, those other things, purposefully so, are revenue generating. Otherwise, what would be the point, right?
Yeah, I actually coined that Berkshire Hathaway comment about a year and a half ago because I could see it because it's clear, right? Yeah. And I got a bunch of pushback on it. Yeah, can you possibly compare this to Berkshire? And I was like, you gotta have some view of the future, right? Gotta have a dream. Gotta see how big it can get. Yeah, so man. I think that's where we're headed. It's kind of that Berkshire Hathaway thing where all these companies are generating all this revenue and propping up this huge $500,000 per share stock price. That's what's going to happen with EverGrow. We're going to have 15, 20 utilities out there pumping it up, and we're going to realize what we've been holding on for so long.
Well, and that's a great point, too. And you're right, 100%. I'd like to just kind of add on to that. All the more reason that some of these have been developed as separate entities, right? It's not EverGrow Wallet. And that is, there's a reason behind that, a big reason behind that. It's not EverGrow NFT Marketplace, right? These are separate entities, companies, all under the EverGrow ecosystem umbrella, but Atlas is a standalone thing. LunaSky is a standalone thing. So yeah, that's why, right? I mean, that is essentially to your point earlier about Sam. You know, you said you hoped his head was, you felt like his head was in the space to bring in bigger non-traditional investors into crypto, right? Well, you need to do that by having standalone products, not necessarily associated with your crypto, right? They can be under the umbrella of an ecosystem, but again, and a lot of people ask the question, why isn't it called EverGrow Wallet? And then Sam goes on to explain these points very well, obviously more eloquently than me, but clearly that is why, because of the bigger picture. The goal, again, right, consistent revenue and longevity.
You know, related to Berkshire Hathaway, one of the key tenets that he has is that he doesn't believe in stock splits. A lot of other companies will split their stock when it gains to a certain value because they want to make it attractive for people who don't have the budget for a $200,000 or $300,000 or $400,000 stock. He doesn't believe that, and I agree with him, right? So he's creating scarcity automatically just by that idea. The idea for EverGrow is to decrease your circulating supply, and that's how you increase scarcity, right? By staking, you're taking tokens out of circulating supply temporarily. Now you're creating scarcity, right? You're rewarding people for staking. Now you're creating this attractive environment where people want to buy and stake in order to make more money. All of these things individually are kind of like, oh, okay, that's cool, that's interesting. Nothing necessarily novel about staking, but it's the way you do it and then the environment that you do it that makes it special. It makes it different. But yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Plus, the rewards token space needs to be innovated. It's time, right? It cannot continue the way it has been for another 5 years. It just can't. This is the fast-paced environment of crypto. Rewards tokens were booming in 2021? They were the thing. They came out. You had your first big ones that come out, and reflections tokens. We'll call them tokenomics types tokens. And now it's time to innovate that or re-innovate that. Let's put it that way. And there are challenges there. There are issues that are unsolved, and through staking with EverGrow, Sam believes in some of the ways that we're going to do it, he has come up with some solutions for that.
I personally see a space for a rewards token. If you can demonstrate quarter after quarter, year after year of increasing profits and increasing token price, then people are more likely to say, I don't mind taking the 14% hit on the way in because I know that in a couple of years, I'm going to easily make that money back. No problem. And that is that's the gem right there. People are like, hey, I can see long-term with this project. Like Michael was talking about, I could see this is a long-term vision, right?
Yeah, I'm with you, and I agree with that. The only thing I'll say to that, though, is as well as re-innovation, it's time to re-innovate taxes. Like, we can no longer go on existing on 14% taxes. At the time, it was okay. It worked. That's how it was. Now it's time to it's time to rethink the process. We need to do what's best for going forward and for the longevity sake of the company. So looking at that now and doing what needs to be done to set ourselves up for success for the next year, 2, 3, 4 down the road is why those decisions are being made. And, it was kind of like, hey, let's do it. Today's the day we're doing it. We'd actually been talking about that off and on through, the past year. And then right there, the past 2 weeks, I guess it was 2 or 3 weeks, we were heavily talking about it because we were planning on doing this. We actually didn't plan on it we didn't say, okay, in 5 days we're doing this. We were talking, hey, we need to do this in the next couple of weeks. And then it was kind of like, well, we're running numbers, we're running scenarios, and it came down to, we need to do this in the next couple of days. And we did. And there we go. We went over the numbers together. We all, obviously got in the think tank, and as we're usually in, we kind of live in there. And,
this circles nicely, Cody. This circles nicely to what we were talking about with Nokia and BlackBerry. It's time to adapt.
Yeah.
EverGrow is adapting.
I say it all the time. I've said it in every space I've been in the past, 2 weeks, I think. And I say it on purpose because, look, if you don't you adapt over short periods so that you can evolve over long periods. If you do not adapt, you will never evolve. That's how it is.
So I've got something that I want you guys to kind of focus in on and give me an explanation. I can't seem to get one out of Sam. Eventually, we're going to run out of tokens, and hopefully it's sooner than later. What's the next step after that? Is it just go right into rewards as the dividend?
Yeah, it's a good question. I can't answer it either, just being transparent with you. I can answer it to the best of my ability, which is essentially what you just said. Could there be other aspects to that could come up? Maybe. I just don't know. It's a great question, Michael.
Each token, in terms of price alone, attracts a different kind of investor. A Bitcoin investor, like a traditional Bitcoin investor, has a different mindset than a 7 zeros, whatever it is, or 5 zeros investor, right? Because they see the potential, like, hey, if I buy it at 10 zeros, all it has to do is drop 2, and I've basically 100x, right? And they said they think it's easier to drop 2 zeros when you're 10 zeros than it is to go from 20,000 to 200,000, right? That's just kind of that mindset. So as the token supply decreases, that should be the number one goal, in my opinion, is to get rid of tokens, right? Once we bust that 400 trillion, then we go and, like, if we're doing it consistently burning, then you're seeing, okay, hey, this is actually happening now. We can watch it, and we know that tokens are being burned. But somebody has to give up those tokens, right? Because they are essentially being held. Somebody's holding those tokens. They're not just like in a piggy bank somewhere and collecting dust. People have to sell. And there has to be a buyer for those too. So as the supply goes down, now you're going to probably see price action, which is really good. But then you start to drop zeros here. You might be like, potentially, let's just say we went to 4 zeros. Now you're attracting a different kind of investor when you get closer to that penny mark, and then the 10-cent mark and the dollar mark and all that stuff. Obviously, to get to $1 for EverGrow, there's just really not enough money in the world right now to do that. But if you get rid of enough tokens, that makes it possible. And then maybe that decision, speculation on my part completely, once we get to a certain point, then we're going to be like, okay, now we do need to have 100 trillion tokens. We shouldn't really go below a certain point because you want to have a tradable amount, right? Maybe now we switch on to something different, like a reward, more rewards or something. This is just kind of me thinking out loud. So I don't know what you think about that.
Yeah, I agree. And that's kind of where I'm at the moment with it until, obviously, unless something else comes up as far as just information or ideas or, who knows. But I mean, that is what it is.
And what defines value, right? What defines value of this project? Obviously, the revenue that's being generated by the project, the amount of tokens that are out there, and then how much those tokens are worth. That's really pretty straightforward. So anytime you affect one end of the equation, you're affecting the other, right? So I don't know. What do you think is more important? Burning those tokens, getting rid of those circular supply, or is it more important to, spread those rewards out to all the people who are holding? Because essentially, the people who hold the most tokens get the most rewards. That's just kind of works. But if you are looking at it from the point of view, if we drop 3 zeros, everybody benefits because now they're seeing, a person who put in $1,000 is going to really, really do really well. And a person who put in 10,000 or 20,000 is going to do very, very, very well, right? So I don't know. It's kind of how you look. Some people look at price as determining whether it's value, and some people look at how much we're burning as determination of value.
I think this is a two-prong road here. One of them is the typical crypto, how much is this coin worth? And the other one is, how much are the projects that are feeding the coin worth? I think we're going to get to the point where it doesn't matter, if a whale comes in and sells $1 trillion in one day, that all that does is put money on the pocket of the people that are holding it. It shouldn't scare away investors because that trillion token transaction did nothing but feed the monster. Who cares if it goes down to 11 zeros? As long as we have those other utilities that keep feeding the machine, these guys that come in and want to get rid of their tokens, bring them in.
Plus, if you see somebody who, when your project's good and solid, right, and you see somebody dump, you're going to be like, hey, this is my chance to get in, or buy
That's
a little bit more.
exactly what I was thinking. It's a dip. Buy the dip.
And right now, people see dips as almost like they get scared. Should I get out now before it goes down even more, or should I double down and try to get in and hopefully it's going to spike on me? There's too much uncertainty in crypto. We need to provide that certainty.
That's exactly right, Cody. That's what we need to be purveying out there, is that the token action is not reflective of the opportunity at all.
Exactly. Thanks for calling me Cody. I appreciate it. I don't have the silky smooth voice to Cody, but
it's pretty smooth, Steve. Everybody knows it's pretty smooth. And if you and me do a podcast at some point, which I'm hoping we do, wink, wink, I think we can make some waves.
Let's do it anytime.
I just wanted to say thank you to Michael for coming on and speaking today. I have thoroughly enjoyed what you've had to say.
Agreed.
100%.
Thank you,
Michael.
Thank you.
Do you hang out in Discord much at all?
I was just about to ask him that, Steve. Great question.
I don't even know how to use Discord. I've gotten on there and got confused.
Well, get on there and just tag one of us. We'll help you. No problem, man.
All right, I'll do it. Thank you.
Yeah, pop into the socials anytime. Happy to come hang, chat, converse.
You'll know I'm around with my golden egg. And that NFT, by the way, was given to me by my son, who's a big time. I don't know if you guys know Jeebus, but he's big time into crypto, and he has like 16 or 17 of these NFTs, these pudgy penguins. He gave me one for Christmas, and so that's why I sport it.
That's awesome. Wow. Yeah, Rocket's listening. I'm sure he may even know him. Rocket knows most of the big NFT folks, the folks in the space there, from penguins to sappies to frogs. So you may know him.
Do pudgy penguins get along well with sappy seals?
I hope so. Let's just think about this for a minute. Aquatic, Arctic. I'd be disappointed if they don't. Flippers. There we go. What else? Hold the breath really long. Yeah, I would hope so.
Let's not get into dining preferences. Let's skip that part.
Nice underlying layer of blubber. Yeah, I just couldn't see it not happening. It'd be a travesty if they don't. Now, frogs, on the other hand, I mean, come on. I'm pretty sure they don't get along with seals and penguins. There could be some kind of weird faction there. I don't know.
That's awesome. Love it. Yeah, Michael, really, really appreciate you coming up. Anybody else? We're going to, man, I just love you. It's 3 hours from this one. You always have such great talks. But yeah, I've got to get going soon, but I want to give everybody an opportunity to speak if they can or if they want. Bring up something, ask the questions, by all means. You're more than welcome to come up. Forgot to ask Bart, how you doing? How have things been?
Oh, I'm good. Just working on development every day, trying to push. I don't want to give out any launch dates, but everything is coming together very well. Coming up with great innovations every day, but I'm putting them on hold until after launch. That's all I got.
Super excited.
Still got a space in there for the EverGrow store?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you.
Bard,
CWP. Sorry, go
if
ahead.
you don't mind, Steve, Bard, why don't you tell everybody what you're talking about there? There may be some people that don't know you, or they may not know what you mean by that. Why don't you tell
I
them?
got to be careful about how much I say, but I will say that I'm building a game, and a lot of the componentry is going to be on LunaSky. A lot of the creators will be able to use some of their own works within the framework of this game. It is not required that you are part of Web3 or even a customer of LunaSky in order to play the game. It's a free-for-all for both people in the crypto space and outside of the crypto space to bring the two worlds together. The primary focus is on fun. I'm not doing this to build a business. I'm doing this to build a community. And that's all I can say about it for now.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Bard. Everybody, Bard is he's an idea guy, right? A lot of the LunaSky ideas we'll call maybe some of the primary. I'd have to look, but definitely a lot of the secondary ideas that we would like to implement after launch, because the build always goes on even after the launch. Bard has hundreds of them, so if you're looking for ideas, just hit up Bard.
It is actually insane how many ideas that man comes up with on stuff.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, I'm a revolutionist when it comes to information sharing. I'm all about building in a world of imagination and creativity. So if you ever need any assistance with generating ideas, or you want to throw something at me and I can help you develop the concept a little more, I'm free, I'm open, I'm not for sale, I'm not looking for a job. I have a very good job and I'm very happy with it, so I'm not looking for any of that. I'm not going to screw you over and take your money. I'm just looking to help you with some idea generating, and that's what I get paid to do in my real job, is to come up with ideas. So feel free to tap into me. I'm a pretty good resource if I do say myself.
Okay, that explains a lot. I didn't know that.
Out of curiosity, when you come up with these ideas, what is your kind of guiding principle or guiding light that gives you this kind of ability to do that? What is it that, if that question makes sense to you?
Well, yeah, I grew up in a very poverty-stricken household, deep in the woods of Indiana, and I grew up with a very interesting, beautiful family, great family, and I grew up in a very interesting environment and had a lot of great experiences throughout my life. Ended up joining the Navy later on and had a lot of world experiences there. My life is a storybook, and that's where a lot of my inspiration comes from. Scotch and bourbon helps as well.
Hey, everybody, I'm sorry to interrupt. I just want to say goodbye. I've got to run really quick. Sorry to make that just, blurt that out. But I love you all. It's been awesome. 3 hours. I think the longest one yet. So y'all have a great night. See everybody soon.
Take care, Cody. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Take care.
Have a good rest of your weekend. That's a cool story, man. I really appreciate it. I always like to hear, like people's kind of story with their kind of, if they tell me even just crypto or how they got in and how they found, maybe crypto EverGrow and things like that. I just find it really remarkable. I mean, I think somebody could write a book about this stuff. It's just pretty fascinating. So, I'd appreciate it very much. I've personally got to go myself too. But if you guys got anything real quick, you want to ask a question about or chime in about, just let me know. And then otherwise, we will call it a week. We always do this at 2 o'clock on Saturdays. And so you're more than welcome to join in on next week. So if nobody has anything else, I will wish you guys a very, very good rest of your weekend and a good week. And hopefully we get some more great news about LunaSky over the wallet. Thank you so much for sharing your weekend with me. And I'll give a quick shout out. Moon, thank you so much for being here. Cody, I know you're gone, but thank you again for being here today. And of course, Bard, thank you for being here. CWP, EverGrow Dan, I Savior, thanks for the question. And Rocket, thanks for being here. Even in silent mode, I really appreciate you being here. Rick B&B, and we got UGC Orca. Michael Garber, thank you so much. Jack of all trades. And we got Will Harkin, Gracians. Haven't seen you in a couple. Hope you're doing very well. EGC Rubicon, good to see you as well. Big B, and we got The Shy, of course, Wilco House, Safe Moon DG, and we got Safely to the Moon. Nice to see you here. HPHP, Chris Agate, and again, my apologies if I butchered it. Morgan, Adam, and Abk, and of course, let's finish it off with Travel with Hanfi. Hanfi or Hanfi? It's good to see you here. I don't think I've seen you here before. So enjoy the rest of your week, the rest of your weekend rather, and have a good week, and we'll see you next Saturday. Have a great day, guys.